You.
What is up,
Hello.
everybody? My name is Tiki James, also known as JM Angelo 67, also known as J-Man. I'm the head of the Power Rankings team for the Civilization Battle Royale X Season 1. And I am joined here today by my fellow Power Rankers as we do a PRCast after Part 1, aka Episode 1, of the Civilization Battle Royale. Take it away with your introductions, boys and ghouls.
You made that sound so dramatic. This is
right?
Admiral Cloudberg, and that's it.
This is Laxarax Ariskasical. Check out my Google map that I make, please. It needs views. Kotaku
Hello.
won't feature this one.
This is Lordy. I came up with this idea, and Indonesia and Sukarno maybe this week if I.
Ooh.
I'm Memsurday. I am here.
And I am Scissor. And I'm here too.
The gang is all here, except the gang members that aren't here.
There's three of us that are muted in the chat. Luna, Aaron, and Tim are all muted in the channel.
They're listening, and perhaps they'll pop up at some point. Who knows?
Tim
Lunar
does
claims that he will join in about 45 minutes. We are also missing my second in command, Glycolysis, a.k.a. Sir Malik, a.k.a. whatever username he goes by that he's trying to hide his real name from that everybody figures out in like 5 minutes.
Georg Lopez.
Is it
His name's
glycolysis?
Joseph.
Yeah, he's Joe, and he goes to West Virginia university.
Look,
Stalking.
let's just dox our fucking friends and
He
co-workers.
posted it in the middle of the channel. I mean, like it's
PR
like
docs,
a
let's go.
command.
Guys, if you joined us for our last power ranking podcast extravaganza, you'll know that it went on for 5 hours. We're going to try and be a bit quicker this time. We're going to rack it
Yeah.
through consonant by consonant, region by region, rather than going through in order of ranking. Probably being distracted along the way. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, stick them in the Twitch chat. If it's in the Twitch chat, I promise you we'll read them. If it's in the anywhere else, we might miss it. But if it's in the Twitch chat, we'll read it. And maybe reply. Or maybe we won't, because maybe it's really
Oh shit,
boring.
guys! You know how we were talking about the Tonga film last time? There's a trailer
Yeah.
for the sequel.
Yeah?
The trailer came out?
Oh shit! Wait, play it.
Shit's the best.
Fuck the Civilization Battle Royale. Link that shit. I'm going to play that right now.
Guys, we're not at Oceania yet. Let's wait for Oceania, and we'll save
Okay,
that
we'll
retreat for the
we'll
end.
play it at Oceania. But shout out to the 5-hour podcast last time. For those who weren't paying attention, I fell asleep when the Nazca came up. That's why I didn't speak for the following 28 civilizations. So
Honestly-
for any viewer out there that was like, "Huh, I wonder why J-Man hasn't spoken since number 33?" Yeah, it's I fell asleep.
Popped in and out because I was going
I was
to
waiting for
honestly,
you in-
that says a lot of.
I was waiting for you in Nepal, so I was like, wait a sec, J-Man.
It says a lot about the Nazca, to be honest, that you fell asleep at them.
Very funny, ECH.
So the other thing I should say, full closure, before we start, is that I'm narrating, or have narrated, I should say, part 2. So I will try and ease off predictions because I know what's going to happen in the short term.
Is that why you ranked the Xian last?
Hey,
I'm
hey,
kidding.
hey,
I'm
hey,
kidding. I'm
hey,
kidding.
I should also say, before anyone gets on my ass, I ranked before I read the part. PRs can confirm that I locked in my rankings about
Yeah.
half an hour after the part dropped.
Yes, I
And
can
haven't changed
confirm.
them since then.
I believe her. I would do the same thing. I mean, shout out to Lunar. Who
I would do the same thing, except if it turned out Scotland had eliminated 5 people.
In which
When,
case you'd be too eager to post.
Then you'd
that.
rank them down so people would be caught by surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is what I've done with this part. The Seljuks in 8th, so that people are surprised when they get eliminated by Parthia straight away.
I will say I've in the past week of just PR chat, I found myself having to defend positions that in retrospect I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, so the thing we have up on the stream at the moment is the Qin and Xia capital.
What about them? Sorry.
So do you want to just start with East Asia then?
Sounds like you're doing
We can start with East Asia. It's a weird place to start, but let's do it. Let's do
East
it.
Asia.
All right. So
So if we can go to like turn 31 and look at that war, that would be nice.
I think we've only got up to
Can't on
turn
the video.
30. Turn 30 on the video. We don't have turn 31 on the video.
No, it ends at turn 31.
No,
showing
this
up.
is wait.
Yeah, it
this is
does.
this is the audio narration, not the full video.
Oh, then you're fine then. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I don't have a slideshow, so I'm
Okay.
kind of doing it.
Perfect, right there. So
So East Asia. I'll
Yang Chang
do.
is already.
Well, I'll do a quick rundown, shall I, of the rankings that we had in just the East Asia region.
Oh yeah, because you split them up into.
So
the
going
thing.
down from the top, we had in number 1 Kamux, in number 2 Chin, with just an N, in number 3 Ching with a G. Not confusing at all, guys. I know what you're talking about.
Petition to add a second G to the end of Ching.
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 Four. Number 4
Ching
is
is
Canton
thick
Pirates.
with 3 G's.
Yeah.
Triple
Canton
G.
Pirates. Number 5 Evenks. Number 6 Korea. Number 7 Shikoku. And in 8, and indeed last place for East Asia, unsurprisingly, the Xia. The Sha. So
Sha would want to be Ya.
Yeah. Yeah.
let's start with the Chin and the Xia. I think that's the most interesting thing that happened last part. I think
So
people wouldn't be able to
it's
dispute that.
quite ironic that both civs technically will, at the very least, have some kind of buff from the capital exchange if it happens. So Shin did pretty well. They got some good cities out and just built up an army and just ran it straight down mid.
Yeah,
basically.
Chin have 3 cities down now. They've got their capital, which is Shenyang. They've got Yongcheng, which is bizarrely similar to the Shah capital, Yangcheng, and Handan, a little further to the south. And yeah, decent damn army. I think it's a very impressive start because
You
I think
could
if you
say it's like a Shin and Yang Cheng situation.
Oh, mate, get ready for puns galore. I've done that pun in the narration. There's gonna be more puns where that came from. I think that's a really impressive start from Chin because I think we see a few civs in this initial part who have put down 3 or 4 cities, and we see a few civs who have got a strong army to boot. But getting both of those in the early game, I mean, this is only turn 30, so the amount of production that it takes to make a huge army and make 2 settlers, pretty damn good. So it's an impressive start from them, I think.
Yeah, especially when they're in a position where they could have very easily gone to the mountains or gone to the desert and really fucked themselves over. So
they've settled really well. They've settled some really nice fertile ground. Yongcheng was a very good forward set on the Xia, right on the Xia border.
And and comparatively Chu is dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think Chu's too bad.
No,
It's
Chu
got a
could be
bit of flip
worse.
I thought it was a good move because it was kind of forward settling Chin and Ching at the same time, but
Yeah.
then it just kind of gets sandwiched in.
ECH says, could I get clarification? Chin UA, by the way. Yeah, they get access to the unique unit and unique building of any civ whose capital they capture. So they have a real snowball kind of UA. As to the Xia, who I think we've been over their uniques quite a lot. They get different bonuses as the game kind of goes on, as they cycle through the various Chinese dynasties. But yeah, the Chin just get that same bonus of whichever civ they capture, and they will use certainly the units. Not sure about the buildings.
The only thing is that depending on the mod makers, if they've taken it into account, because it's something I found when I was coding Svalbard, is that the Lua functions often have a check for the civilization that should be able to make it, being the one that's using the abilities or doing stuff. So if that's the case, then the unique units extra stuff won't fire.
Gotcha.
Depends on the mod. Honestly, I have no idea. BC could tell me, but I have no clue which ones do and which ones don't support it.
No, I have
Also,
no
a quick
idea either.
reminder. A quick reminder: if the Xia lose their capital, they will receive a buff. They will advance and be to the next dynasty, which will give them +2
Yes.
science on pastures. Not exactly worth it.
Yeah, J
No, I
man,
think-
you need to pause the video because we keep getting recommended these videos about classic WoW.
Yeah, well, if I pause the video, then I get the YouTube overlay, and I don't. I'll just deal with it.
Just turn off the autoplay.
Yeah, do that. I think I'd rather have the capital than the minor science buff. If I'm being
same
honest.
Here.
Yeah,
If I
as
was Emperor U.
And it would also completely cut Shy in half because they got Chew above and they got the of the city south.
Well, here's the thing: do we think the city will fall? Because we had the CR, we didn't have the Shy in last place. We didn't think they were going to get eliminated next part by any means. We still have a few cities, etc. Man, Scotland below them. I can't remember about Scotland actually.
Yeah, why are Scotland like still down there? They did well.
Hang on.
I don't think there's last cities.
But yeah, but if we look at the armies, right, we got Sheen have something like 6 or 7 warriors, but only I think 4 or 5 will get there in the next couple of turns because of all the forest and hills. They've got 4 archers, I think, in range.
It's more like
they don't know if they'll be able to stay in the capital because what will happen is Shao will start building military units now that they declare war on.
Yeah. So what are you saying? What do you think is going to happen?
I think both sides will put effort into it. I think what we could see is Chu falling, depending on what happens.
Okay.
Especially, I think there's a chance that Chu might actually end up falling to the Qing or something.
So you think the Qing are going to declare war?
I don't know for certain, right?
Well, let's talk about the Qing for a second because they had a very interesting start. Now we sort of know the Qing for being very expansive out of the gates. Now I will say. One of the reasons for this, which I think we only discovered when we were testing, is that very often, because of their unique ability, gives them a lot of culture out of the gate on turn 1, and very often they rush the liberty policy that gives you a free settler. So actually, a lot of the time, in a lot of AI games, the Qing end up starting with 3 settlers, which is one of the reasons they're so expansive. Now we actually balanced that. For the CBR and made it so they couldn't rush straight to that policy straight away. But still normally get a lot of cities out early on, and yet they just sat tight on 2. One of the civs that sat on 2 cities.
They've
got a third settler,
and he's over.
They would have cities by right now, except they're sending their settler farther than most other civs do.
They are. Do you know which way they're sending it? Sorry.
Now you see where those
it's gone south.
They're right
south.
to the left of it.
Kalabog settler, yeah.
It's heading out to the Shandong Peninsula.
The Shandong Peninsula. That is where Korea built their weird second city back in Mark II.
Yes, it was where they walked all the way around to get it. Yeah.
Yes.
It'd be hilarious if the comics there.
61st. Okay, well that's interesting. It's a nice open area. Obviously, the main rival there would be the Xia, but the Xia are kind of obviously at the moment concerned with defending against the Qin.
I think the thing to look at is Korea I think Korea are shaping up a bit of a wild card at this point, to be honest. Like, they put out the city way out of the way.
Yeah,
that's a good thing for Korea, though.
I was a little
surprised they won't be boxed in, but they have no.
Do you remind me how many cities Korea have down?
They have 3 down with the center, I think.
They have 3, yeah. So I think what's interesting is Pyongyang is the second city. It's a very conservative settle, very central settle. It is very coastal, which should stack well with their abilities. Their abilities are very, very naval focused. They get a lot of free ships.
Can we show Korea on screen?
Yeah, if I can find them.
Yeah, J-Man, people are saying in chat, just pause, they don't care about the overlay.
Oh, that's cool.
Busan is their 3rd city. That's the one that's up near Vladivostok.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's a really interesting position because that is well out of the way from the Evenks and the Karmugs. I don't see anyone even finding that city.
We don't have a northeastern city like the Yakusha or Chukchi or Koryak or Yukagir or anyone that can start there.
Because you've got to remember, possibly a civ has to find a city to be able to know to conquer. So it's all well and good saying, the Karmugs will send an army, but they might not have scouted it.
There should be there should be a shot of Korea with 3 cities up. We saw that city
Yeah.
on screen near the end.
But yeah, their capital is coastal, I believe, and it's only got the one tile access. That's really good for building a naval empire and really good for defending.
So that city could be used potentially as a really useful springboard in the future, I think, on Shikoku.
Also,
or whichever country manages to settle Japan.
Just now I've noticed that you can see uranium and coal and oil on the map, but
Yes.
World Congress, I think, may have found it. So are we using a mod that change the visibility?
Yes. So the World Congress has been quite edited by BC. I can't tell you exactly how, but yes, you should be able to see all the resources. But obviously they can't be used yet, and the AI can't see them. Although actually, there's a question. This is kind of just Civ 5 in general. Some people think the Civ 5 AI is actually able to detect the resources from the start of the game.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
You very often see them settle on weird desert spots, and then you hit the industrial era, and it turns out there was 3 oil there, and you're like, oh, interesting. So
I think
bad. I can't find it.
Okay. Well, I think you're right about the AI being able to see these strategic resources because I've often seen city-state build more workboats than they actually need, and they just leave them around for a long time. And then in the modern era, they discover oil, and then they clearly knew the oil was there, but couldn't improve duration.
Yeah, I think the other thing
I think you go.
Because when you turn on IGE as well, it shows up everything, even if you haven't researched the text. So I assume the AI can see the resources. So they're probably going for that uranium and iron. Actually, they don't even start with bonds working if they wouldn't be able to see iron.
No. So the Qin, we've talked about the Qin, the Shah. We've talked a little bit about the Qing. We've talked about Korea. Shikoku. Let's talk about Shikoku.
About Korea.
Okay,
I think
go.
Korea is still very much screwed. I was one of the...
You think they're what, sorry?
Screwed, yeah.
Screwed. Gotcha.
We talked about this a little bit before Lax, but back in the PR chat, but I was one of the people who ranked Korea really, really low.
Yes. No, I have them quite high this week. Higher than I think most people here.
Yeah, I put them quite low because...
Why do you think they're screwed?
I think while they had a good start, it's still not enough of a good start. I think their numbers are still really low, and I don't see them getting them up very quickly. And I think while the Vladivostok settle is very good, I still think that the Qing can still put a settle down that could split them in half. And I think that will be very bad for them.
Agreed.
That's the eternal problem when it comes to this particular Korea through all tests. It's literally, if Qing settles one city east, Korea is neutered forever. Unless for some reason Qing just sees no reason to settle east, Korea will always die. But then we have that one game where Qing just didn't settle east, and Korea skyrocketed.
Yeah. I have seen other test games since where, as well, just kind of private ones in the dev chat, where Korea has had a fair empire and Qing have been nowhere to be seen. So it is.
Yeah, I think basically it does depend on if they can seal that top bit of the peninsula. If they can get a city near, is it where Harbin is?
Harbin, yes, Manchuria.
Yeah,
which they probably will because Qing has a settler on the northern end of the peninsula. So it's pretty much a toss-up. If Qing just pops a city down there, goodbye, Korea.
Qing doesn't have any such settlers anywhere in Korea. They have one across the bay.
Qing's settler is over near the Xia at the moment.
Oh, my bad.
I should say, New Shah has some of the best colors of any civ.
Yeah, they're cute. They're cute. I mean, I like old CR colors, but they're also yellow. And obviously, Qing are yellow. So
yeah, was this one of the ones that T-Pang posted during the MK3 where he made 8 or 9 different reskins?
No, this was BC. This was us. I think it was Erlen actually who did the colors. They were based on a temple in the area. I can't remember what it was, but it's that kind of mossy green and red thing.
I thought it just looked like jade. So.
Well, yeah, kind of. It's based on the architecture of this one temple, actually. And yeah, pretty sure. Correct me
That's
if I'm
cool.
wrong. Stizza might know more than me, but I'm pretty sure it was Erlen
Oh,
Koenig.
I took it from one of the Shaolin temples.
Sorry?
I took the early coloring from one of the Shaolin
Oh,
temples.
it was you. It was you. I thought it might have been you. I knew it was you or Erlen, but you weren't saying anything, so I assumed it was Erlen.
Yeah, the new is Busan, home of the Overwatch map, and I have no idea anything else. I do, and the train in that zombie film was actually really, really good.
Sorry, what? What zombie film?
There's a film called The Train to Busan. Yeah,
Oh, really? Oh,
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, zombie film.
it's
Do you have
based
anything
on
else to say about East Asia?
Shikoku. Yeah, they're settling a
yeah.
city.
Let's talk about
next turn.
Shikoku. Yes, turn 31, Shikoku settle city Nakamura. It will be if you look at my city list that I made.
Ooh.
It will be Nakamura, and it looks like they settled
Spoilers.
the area. Well, it's not spoilers really. It's public for everyone to see that. It's in the area around Mount Fuji. It should have Mount Fuji in its radius, which is of course the standard Mount Fuji
so
bonus. You get C5, a nice face.
Jim, if you put your cursor on that flat land above the scout.
Say again, sorry.
I was going to say, Jim, if you go back to the
Alright.
video, I'm on the stream, and then put your cursor on the tile they settle on.
Sorry, I forgot to speak into the microphone.
No worries.
So it's like the flat land without any forest on it above the scout. Yeah, that's where they settle. They don't actually settle adjacent to Mount Fuji because they are stupid like that.
It's not so bad. I mean, to be honest, when AI settles cities right next to natural wonders, it often neuters the city because they spend all their time working the natural wonder and never fucking grow.
But to be fair, Mount Fuji's like the best natural wonder with all the culture and science and food that comes out of
it. Science,
It doesn't
gives
know.
faith, culture, faith in God.
It's fine. It's a fine wonder, I would say.
The good one is Barringer Crater, and that gives science and gold.
It's good if you want to found a religion. So I think we might be looking at may possibly be looking at a religion from Shikoku.
But
Some
correct me
point
if I'm wrong. Don't Shikoku have like no religion bias?
They
They're
don't
science.
really, but I mean, Mount Fuji. If they work Mount Fuji, they'll be making faith. If you make faith, you get a profit.
We've
Yeah.
seen crazier in terms of tests. I think we once saw Muscovy found a religion.
Yes.
Is that crazy?
I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. Nothing's like. At the end of the day, whoever builds Stonehenge gets some religion, like basically anyone. So
Yeah, I was going to say
anyone's got a chance, even in India.
I think I said like
Yes, religion
I think
focus
there's
is
a couple
about 5.
yeah, I think there's a couple of civs. Like I think Australia has like a religion focus of 1 or something because it's like when Hawke was in charge was secular.
Yeah, there are some civs with. Do you know? I really wish I could find it now. I looked for it the other day. Sabi or Sabi-Z for you American. He's the guy-
yeah.
He's the guy who made the Czech Republic that's in the game. Václav Havel's Czech Republic. And he made a list, a ranking, a power ranking, if you like, of how likely every civ would be to found a religion. And Libya was top, and Libya have already founded. So, yeah.
Drazul, prophet of the rich, the great prophet.
Yes. So we will get into that, I'm sure. Anyway, Shikoku,
For the
3 cities out, not bad. But at the moment, we're not seeing any other production from them, so I'm not super confident. We're always wary on Shikoku. They're not a very powerful nation in general in these games.
They're a science civ. They are a science.
They're a science
civ.
civ. So we'll keep an eye on their tech. But other than
They,
that,
I think, if anyone's likely to be like MK2 Korea, it is Shikoku. But we don't.
yeah, that's probably very likely.
okay,
But we'll
moving on to the
watch out. Oh,
Next
hang on.
news.
One more that we've got in East Asia which we haven't talked about. Actually, no, 2
Airbanks.
more because we've got the Camogs and the Airbanks, and we've got Canton. We haven't talked about either of those yet.
Don't you mean East Tongu?
There's not a lot to say about Canton yet, to be honest.
Or the
No,
They-
not really. They have
haven't
2
done much.
cities.
The Evinks are the western
Well, the
Nenuts.
Camogs, there's more to say.
Oh yeah, they
Eastern Nenuts.
yeah,
they
they
jumped-
really are.
they
The
jumped to
Nenuts
like
of the Western
4th
Camogs.
in this power ranking, right?
Yeah,
Kamugs are intense.
Yeah, I mean, Camogs are first in the region. They're above Chin. We ranked them above Chin, so I do want to talk about them. Do you want to talk about them now?
Sure.
80 is.
Yeah, I mean we are on East Asia.
Hang on,
Yeah,
someone,
well, let's
someone
go.
in chat just Someone in chat clearly has the power rankings. No, Haiti are dead last, aren't they? I'm pretty sure Haiti is 61st.
Right now, Haiti is placed dead last, but with a much higher deviation than they did for Part 0.
Well, yeah, with
I
like 4
think
rankings to go, they were.
Yeah, most rankers ranked them like 60th or 61st. I personally ranked them 60th, but we can get into that later.
60th, but yeah, we'll run into that when we get to the Caribbean. The Camogs, anyway. The Camogs are first. Now, I actually ranked the Camogs second in my personal rankings overall, just after Zimbabwe, who you may remember is the number 1 overall, so not a huge shock.
With number one with a standard deviation of 0.3.
Yeah, I know, right? I think everyone put Zimbabwe first or second. Anyway, the Camogs, for me, not the most assuming start, but a very confident. We like to see the Camogs settle early. We like to see them settle south. When the Camogs get mired down and bogged down is when they focus too much on the events. There's no evidence they're doing that so far. If they get stuck in China, they often do very well.
Well, be stuck in China if
for
they
me,
settle there
I've got
with that settler that was just in like the middle of the war.
Oh yes, then they have that settler roaming around. Now, I don't expect
I think that's just
them
going to be free
to
meat
keep-
for any Chinese civ.
It's
I don't
very
expect them to keep any city they put down there, but
They do have like
that's-
4 of the cities though.
Yes, they've already got some good cities up north and some more settlers up there as well. Actually, if you watch the video, so yeah, I think there was a really strong start in terms of expansion. Their army's not even too shoddy either, so I don't know where they're getting all that production from because it's not even great land. Yeah,
Where's
I
the
thought
hills? They've got a load of hills for getting production.
Yes, true. I just think there was nothing bad to say about the Camog start. I thought they did everything right as far as I'm concerned, apart from sending that settler on a voyage. But you know what? That's fun. That's fun. That's part of the CBL magic. So I don't really care about that.
Yeah, J-Man, just heads up because he's using the full video now. Just skip the last like 5 minutes because that's the last time.
Got
Sorry,
it.
say that again. Sorry.
J-Man's moving to the directly cut video.
No worries.
I assume that's just going to be better.
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to talk about in Asia?
Events are just being boring as usual. Not as good as Sibir or Yakutia.
That's it, really. Also, a lot of you pronounce it Yakusha. It's Yakutia.
Blame
Cloudberg would know. He was technically leader of that civilization for like 40 parts.
Yeah,
Good to
I
know.
forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I got elected leader of the what was it, like the Free People's Republic of Beryozovo or whatever. The
Yeah,
last
over, yeah.
Who was it that wrote the? It was it which part?
Yeah,
It was the last power ranking before the
who-
reboot. That it was the Yak is back. Right up, that made me lose my shit.
I think I
No idea. Who was the original Trigger Dark Khan? Does anyone remember?
Oh, from the rap battle.
I do not remember.
So if no one remembers, the Yakutia's main claim to fame in the CBR Mark II meta was that.
Well, apart from being first in the power rankings for the first 10 parts.
Yes, that's true. Other than that, they a correspondent for Yakutia won the inaugural CBR rap battle as Trigger Dark Khan. But I can't remember who the actual user was. It's gone. If someone wants to get on Reddit
I
and do some
listened to
Reddit
the raps
detective work
and
for us, that would be great.
It was quite good, yeah, the rap. I was quite happy with it.
I do have an image of the Evenks finally on turn 22. So I believe
That'll do.
I believe they picked Liberty, Honor, because they have a great general. But
Makes sense.
I see 3 warriors and 2 very
Which is what
close.
they start with.
Yeah, and 2 very close
Yes.
together cities. A couple workers, okay, cool, which is what they started with, and a caravan. So
I will say there is exactly one thing going for the events at the moment for me, and that is the fact that they founded their second city, Bakit, on top of the IRL village of Bakit. They founded it on the exact right location, and given that village has a population of like 50, I think that's really impressive. So the events, they're doing well in my heart. On paper, though, not great. It's not a great start.
I'm just waiting.
They have really one of the worst starts of any Civ. Most starts have 3 or more luxury resources nearby. They have 1.
Yeah, I really, I really wasn't kind to, but they do have a lot of space, so I didn't feel that I needed to too much. And here's the thing: I think Evenks probably will get at least the 10 cities out in the next few parts because they have so much space, and they're not under expansive. What they are is under militaristic. So I think if anyone does decide to rush them, then actually, I think.
By the way, if
anyone was.
If anyone was watching on the Civ AI Games Discord, I was posting pictures of a test of a Russia AI game with the Evenks in it. They surrounded the capital for like 50 turns with reindeer archers and could not take it because they had basically nothing but reindeer archers. That was their entire army. And
I have noticed.
There was like 150 of them. So that's something to look forward to.
So what? They're basically Nubia.
Yes.
Cold
and actually,
Nubia.
that was hilarious because Ket's unique ability is that killing enemy units grants food in the nearby city. So the longer their capital was under siege, the bigger it got.
That's beautiful. I mean, this is a classic. This is a very classic unit. It's a unique unit. Civ to build their unique unit. So if the unique unit's a ranged unit, they'll build their ranged unit for days, and the AI isn't clever enough to know that a ranged unit can't take a city.
Shout out to when the Spartan capital in a Groundhog Day game got like 216 population in its capital.
I think it hit 205, and that was because their ability was every time they capture a city, they gain pop in their capital, and they were flipping like 5 cities every turn.
God.
I was going to say it's on the topic of the range. On the topic of range units, Sibir that really fucked them over because they built their Keshik or such a thing, and it couldn't touch it.
Well, it's a famous Mongol problem to build Keshiks and then sit outside a city forever. They did it in one of my stream games that I ran. They did that for absolutely fucking ever over this one city that should followed like 200 turns ago. Serio says, Lax, the Yakutia rapper seems to have been a fun house with a 5. So shout out to Funhouse if you're still here, if you're listening.
ECH calls this Siberian Civ uneventful.
Nice.
Okay,
do you want to go to Oceania?
Well, hang on.
Sure.
Are we skipping Canton?
Didn't do much.
What is there to talk
There's nothing to say about Canton.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we're disappointed in East Town.
Canton really is going to actually do something in part 1, I believe. I mean, there's nothing really today. This was just build up for them.
We already had part 1.
This is part 1.
I mean, part 2. Part
2.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see.
Okay. Closing the ban in CHG. That was before Scissor fixed their biases, so they had 0 for one of the important ones, and
for 5 of them.
And also, I don't know how much that difference that's going to make, though, is it? Unless the ones that were missing were, expansion and naval bias, which were at 0, which kills the Civ. What were they at? Do you know, Civ, which ones were missing?
They were aggression. They were there's stuff about there was a couple about naval growth, aggression. I think just a bunch of those types of biases.
All right, so it's pretty big ones.
Yeah, they got screwed in Groundhog Day as well, but again, that was before they had biases.
Yeah, 0 on naval bias and aggression. That seems like essential for a pirate civilization.
They are fixed now, though, as you well know. Oceania. Let's move on to there. And again,
okay, Lax. How do you pronounce that?
How do I find this?
You had it a minute ago. Just don't click. Use your left and right arrow keys to move 5, 6, 7.
I'll do a quick rundown of the Oceanian civs. I've included Indonesia in this as well. And from 1st to 6th, it is 1st place Australia, 2nd place New Zealand, 3rd place Papua, 4th place Murray, 5th place Sulu, 6th place Tonga.
Wait, guys, we can't go to Tonga. because it's not. It is still 50 minutes past the hour and not 36. So we have to wait
that
for
is
40
time.
boys.
Tonga.
We have to wait for 40. Yeah, we missed Tonga.
Let's
Tonga.
start.
Sorry, no Tonga.
Let's start with Indonesia because there were 2 Indonesian civs in there, Papua and
Okay.
Sulu. We ranked Papua a fair bit above Sulu, and I, for one, am appalled and disgraced at our community and our power rankers for doing so because I think Papua had probably the worst start of anyone.
Go back to that.
Oh,
Hold
can we
on.
talk about the?
No, wait,
part
back.
1?
Can we stop and talk about the
Tanobata.
Oh yeah.
Tanobata, yeah.
Hanua.
Probably the worst settle. Probably the worst settle Papua could have ever chosen to.
I don't know if you've got a picture of that on screen or not, but
It literally has bad in the name.
well, so does a capital. Tanobata was settled right on the end of the Papuan Peninsula, which means that it is surrounded on all but one tile by coastal tiles, which means that if anyone decides to navally attack it, it will probably fall in a turn because you can attack it from just every angle. So
5 directions. Yeah, it's dead.
All in all, an awful. There's a reason, guys. There's a reason people build towns in coves or bays or inlets and not, on the end of peninsulas. I mean, Dakar.
My personal prediction is that by the end of part 10, Tonga will own that city.
Bold.
Do you think
New
Tonga
Zealand.
will have
New Zealand, mate. New Zealand.
New Zealand over Tonga. But I'd love.
Realistically, yes. But my prediction is Tonga.
Good shout from Blim Lim Lin Runs is that it will also eat into Hanubada's workable rate.
Yep, that too. Hanubada doesn't have that many land tiles to work as it is, so just an all-around bad settle. I mean, Papua are best in these games when they get off their island. I mean, all island civs are good when they get off their island, but Papua especially, they need to get off their island, they need to get on the continent. That's the first thing.
Also, I totally forgot how distorted Indonesia was, because that fact that the island where Mainbang is like on the same latitude as Papua is just ridiculous.
Yeah, because that's Sulawesi, but it's like, it's all screwed. But anyway,
It's hard to map out Indonesia. Just to say.
That is true.
By the way, Blim Lim Lim Runs is actually Top Hat Paladin. Shout out to Top Hat Paladin.
The best modder to not get a civ in CBRX. I'm so sorry, I tried.
That is true.
So hard.
But let's be honest, like
Season 2,
about
Aleut,
season 2,
they're getting in.
how many good top
shout out
hats
to
have
Top
there?
Hat. Ket got mentioned earlier in the stream.
They did,
Yeah, but
that's a top hat.
We've got Ket, we've got Rashtrakuta, we've got Pala.
We can't get Rashtrakuta because we're getting Vijay and Nagar.
You already had an Indian civ, Scissor. It's top
We
hat.
also, while we're on this slide, we also have Limousine, aka Poblano, in the chat, aka the guy who started the One Tile Island Crusade to vote in certain civilizations. And what do you know? We've got one of those civilizations, the Sultanate of Sulu, in the shot with Mainbang.
Yes. Now Sulu, I'd say were lower than Papua. Now I think Papua had the worst. Full disclosure, part 0, I put Papua 5th. I think they have great potential when they play well. When they settle Australia early and build a good army there, they are probably one of the most powerful civs in Oceania.
So,
however,
my ranking of
2 cities in New Guinea and didn't build an army and didn't build any more settlers. So I'm very disappointed.
my ranking of Papua barely changed because I had them very low from the beginning. I feel justified, vindicated. Anyway,
Yeah, you should do.
Yeah, because honestly, this is what I expect of them. And if history is any indication, they won't build very many more cities after this. So this is pretty much
Yeah,
over.
for real though. I mean, this is another thing. An island civ building their second city on their own island, for some reason, it just completely f's them up when it comes to building.
It screams Haiti in the first 5 tests.
Yes.
To be fair, Papua is, I think, the biggest island in Indonesia. So.
True. Now, ECH says, could
Borneo
is captured in
bigger.
Danger Hanwabada, do you reckon? And yeah.
I mean, it's what happened to it. I'm pretty sure it happened to either Indonesia or Kimberley, or maybe even both during the Australia expansion, where there were a couple of islands that had cities right on the end that would get flipped, and then they were able to use the city's attack to kill the units surrounding the city.
Yeah. It's just bad. It's just a bad settle. Anyway, Sulu, they settled a city on Sulawesi, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. Can we just have a petition now before we start for all cities that are composed of words in other languages? So like Mainbang be pronounced like those words rather than the actual pronunciation.
Well, what does Mainbung?
They're meant to be like Mainbung or something. Probably.
I don't know. I'm not. I don't speak.
I'm presuming it's Mambung.
But Mainbung, or however you pronounce it, is on Sulawesi. And that's a decent first settle. Now, obviously, Sulu can't settle another island on their capital for obvious reasons. But we often see them go for Indonesia first. I think it's kind of wise because the Philippines is kind of theirs to take when they want it. Unless Canton gets there, then or I guess Shikoku, then Sulu will probably be able to settle the Philippines. So it's good to get a good stake in Indonesia early.
Actually, the shop that J-Man has up is like they can settle the one that's next to Sulawesi really easily, and then they can go down to
Borneo,
Sumatra, and Java.
Yeah. Dude, can we just double check, guys? Have they got any settlers on the go at turn 30? Does anyone know?
I did not. I did not
recall seeing
any.
Reformers list on the side.
Yeah, someone made a table. Reformer made a table.
This is the most inefficient way to find it.
Chloe says no.
One tile island.
But I don't know if we can trust Chloe. I trust Chloe.
Chloe's a good boy.
Chloe's a good egg. I trust him.
Also, he's right.
He is right. So there you go. No, they don't have any more cities. That's a shame. I mean, Island Civs are always a bit worried about them not settling. So we do want to keep an eye on them.
I also see the Canton Pirates in the shot I'm stopped on now. You guys will see it in a second. Their settler is moving inland in China rather than outside of the coastal areas. Well, that letting Sulu open up a lot more avenues. It also changes a little bit of the dynamic of China.
Well, that is good for Sulu. That is great for Sulu. As I say, I think here's the thing: Sulu are in a position where they could really be another Indonesia and just hog space forever, or they could, they could get a good navy going. And I should remind you all, their unique unit, the Proa, is a trireme replacement, so they should be building quite a lot of ships quite quickly. So they're in a position where they could either really just sit there and do nothing, or they could get a good navy going, start some early wars, which they have done in some of the tests with places like Papua and even the Australian civs, and kind of make a name for themselves as a kind of Indonesian buccaneers, if you like.
So they currently have a trade.
At the moment, we can call it.
They currently have a trade relationship with Papua. You can see their Papuan cargo ship in Mambong.
In general, I don't know what you think, Cloudberg.
They also have a trade ship going into Canton. I don't want to go back to the image, but right next to the Philippines, the Sulu also have a trade ship up there as well. So they're making a lot of resources right now, even though it doesn't look like it. Plus, they have the biggest city. The only other city, I think there's maybe one other city that has 9 population, and it's
Castletown.
Oh no! So then it's 2 because there's one in Shikoku.
Doesn't Port-au-Prince have 9 population?
I think Castletown has 9. So there's a few with 9.
The largest population on the cylinder.
Where does?
Haiti has the largest population.
Oh right, well there you go. There you go. We'll get to Haiti in good time. I will say, when it comes to traders, I don't use them as like, oh, they're trading, so they're not going to go to war. My experience is that
it doesn't make any difference. So, what about the Australia situation? That's one of the most controversial questions among the power rankers at the moment.
Well, it's kind of not that controversial.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think most power rankers have agreed that Australia are better than the Murray. Am I right in thinking that?
There are several who disagree. I agree with you, but I think Australia's in a better position.
I disagree. I'm against that position. I think I'm the only one.
Oh yeah, so it is controversial.
Do you want to state the non-controversial opinion, if you like, the standard power ranker opinion first?
So most of the power rankers think that Australia has partially cut off. They settled north, sort of parallel to them, instead of south, which is usually in the test resulted in a better outcome for Australia. But the Murray have a larger army. Most of the power rankers just aren't convinced that the terrain is receptive enough to invasion with this size of army that the Murray have. I think it's too rough. They wouldn't get through.
I also think that Australia, if they do get attacked, they can start producing an army and start replacing their units and making more units at a faster rate than the Murray could.
Yeah, so my internet has just completely died, so what did I miss?
We're talking about the Murray-Australia situation, where the Murray have a much larger army, but the Australians were given the opportunity to settle more of Australia than the Murray ever will be able to.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I am up.
Hey guys, I just had a brief moment of AWOLness, but I'm back.
No problem. I'm appalled that Australia have done everything right that we wanted them to do at the start of the game, and they've gone down 2 places in the rankings.
Well,
to be fair,
there's a reason for that.
One of those is the comic Mongols rising.
I mean, here's what I'd say: there's doing things right, and then there's doing things well. Now, the Camogs are a good example of a civ who did all the right things and also are looking really strong. And I've got a nice amount of soldiers and are just exceeding expectations at the moment. For me, Australia, yeah, they've played the right moves. They've played some nice cities, but they've not done anything else. They've not done anything exciting or new or novel. And most importantly, they haven't built an army. There is no army there, and that's worrying. Especially because the Murray, for all their lower size, and the fact they don't have a third settler out is definitely worrying. But the Murray have built an army, and so currently, for me, if I'm going just on what I'm looking at, I have to give it the edge to the Murray, because I feel like in a war, in an all-out war at the moment, the Murray have the advantage.
I think in a war at the
similar things
moment,
across the two.
I think a war at the moment between these two would result in no cities exchange.
I'm tempted to agree, but at the same time, when a civ declares war, it's not like they stop building units. And at the moment, we've seen the Murray have more of. It
means that the other civ will start building units.
Not necessarily.
Yes.
Honestly, not necessarily.
They might though.
Sometimes a civ gets declared war on, but they're so adamant on building this one wonder that they just keep. I mean, we saw city stats for civs like the Boers when they were being demolished by Brazil, and they were still building buildings. That does happen. So I don't know necessarily if the odds are necessarily in Australia's favour, because as far as I'm concerned, you've got one civ who's building a huge army and one civ who's seems to just be building civilians. And I can't in good faith give the edge to Australia. Even all I know about that could trap that city in there and it just all feels too circumstantial. And at the end of the what's in front of you, and what's in front of me is a civ with units and a civ without them.
If you want a good comparison, Mark II, Tibet. Settled like crazy, got a really strong empire going, had no units, and got carved up by all of its neighbors until it was just Lhasa.
At the same time, though, Australia, I mean, it continues the comparison, but they have a good terrain advantage. There's a lot of forests that will slow down the Murray. There's a lot of hills and mountains in front of a weaker city like Sydney. So, yeah.
I feel like, having looked at the terrain again and the defense values, Canberra is probably out of the question at the moment, just because warriors and archers struggle against cities. But Sydney's a bit more open. Sydney is a bit more surroundable. I think they could rush Sydney. I think it's very plausible.
Tim says North and Songhai regarding Australia.
You're going to have to say that again. Sorry, you were doing something that covered just talking.
Sorry, Tim was saying that it's similar to the Songhai, just expanding without an army.
Yeah, sure.
Have we talked about New Zealand yet?
And we have not.
And this
we've got kind of a shot on them.
This is
Okay.
again a very controversial one. I want to start with Cloudberg because I think he put New Zealand highest out of all of us. Am I right in thinking that?
Top
No, I think
10.
one person put them higher than me. Let me check.
Okay, but you're the highest who's here. So
Yeah, probably. So I had them 10th, and that's mostly because New Zealand is a very expansive civilization, and if they stick with that, they tend to do very well in AI games, even if they start, on the end of a peninsula or on an island. And it's looking good so far. They're expanding fairly rapidly. They don't have much of an army yet, but that's typical in this situation. And I don't think there's anyone who has a large enough navy yet to threaten them anyway. So it's not necessarily a bad move. So the fact that New Zealand is expanding this fast is what says to me that they have a rather bright future based on previous performances.
the question has to be asked about why they're expanding, though. I mean, first and foremost, I will say their fourth city, which I can't remember the name of it now, but it's founded in exactly the same kind of spot that we bemoaned Papua for earlier. Now, granted, Papua only have 2 cities, and that's what makes them so bad. But it's a very open
New Zealand has 3 cities. They're just on their way to 4.
Actually, they get
They had 4 by turn 31.
Oh, of course
So
they did.
It's out on the end of a peninsula, but it's also in between 2 of their other cities, which makes it a little less bad. It's also not their second city; it's their 4th, so it's less important.
Also, I think it also just happens to be the way that their triremes went. If they'd gone towards Tasmania, I can almost guarantee they'd have founded a city on Tasmania by now.
I mean, I think they will settle Tasmania sooner rather than later. They're not going to stop at 4 settlers. They never do. They are New
They
Zealand.
never do.
Seddon's AI is just nuts.
Yeah.
I just think, again, you have to look at the evidence that's ahead of us. And so far, they have 4 cities out, sure, but one of them's in a terrible position. New Caledonia is probably their only decent settle so far. The other one is just on the South Island. I mean, it's very conservative, very safe. There's no army, there's no navy, there's nothing which says winner of a region to me. At the moment, I haven't lost faith in them, and they're definitely ahead of Papua. But I can't justify putting them higher than either of the Australias. At the moment, those 2 look like the ones who are going to.
I will add. I put Australia higher than New Zealand, even though New Zealand was 9th.
Okay.
So I didn't put them the highest in Oceania. However, yeah, I tend to heavily base my early rankings off of past AI performance, and so that's the biggest thing. Is they're following the pattern that I've seen in games where they won or came close to.
Yeah, New Zealand are always like there or thereabouts in their game because they're that good. I do want to talk about one thing that I tried to mention earlier, is that our rankings have been affected by the presence of the public poll. And so they ranked New Zealand 5th. They also
Wow, what was our ranking for them on average?
I don't know.
Like 12 or something. Let me see.
Oh, no, lower than that.
Yes.
Can I go on a little bit of a
it
New
was like
Zealand
our
tangent?
average ranking. Our average ranking for them was more like 15.
That's.
No, it was lower.
Somebody.
It was lower. It was like being like 9 something to 17 something.
No, okay, you're right. It would be lower because the rankings were 14, 10, 9, 17, 19, 16, 19, 11, 13, 12,
Individual
20, 22,
the other tab.
and then there was also 41 and 49.
Go to the other tab. You can see what the average is.
You mind if I go on a tangent in regards to New Zealand?
Hit us
They
up.
would still have been 16th of that, but the deviation was a lot higher.
New Zealand is the suffocating blanket of Oceania. I see them not surviving till the end of it. I don't see them overtaking Australia, but I see them making a potential unification of Oceania by obviously Papua. JK. Either Australia or Murray. I see them making their life infinitely harder and much more than the Maori ever were. I could see the presence on the Australian island to be a lot more annoying, and the capital snipe that was oh so famous for Mark II. Yeah, not only do New Zealand have a chance to do that, unlike the Maori, they have a chance to hold it and to be very, very powerful. However, their biases seem to have rolled low in the one thing that matters most. So instead of them striking at the heart and taking a loving stand as a flag floating over that godforsaken island that might hold the first rank forever, they might just settle a million cities, not produce that much of a navy, and eventually be taken out.
I need to add. Wait, no civs, despite no matter their naval biases, have built more ships than the ones they started with at this point.
Yeah, that
It's
is true.
Simply
That's
too
very
early.
true.
You can't derive.
Yeah,
anything.
that is true.
They haven't researched sailing yet.
We haven't even seen a Haitian
I
armada
believe
yet,
they
guys.
have optics, but like they still are saying like, "Hey, settle, boys."
So we see a. Actually,
They have
shouldn't-
sailing
shouldn't-
too. A lot
They
of them
shouldn't
built
have
work
optics.
boats.
They should just have sailing. We put embarkation onto sailing.
Yeah, that's like
Haiti haven't even built an armada yet, guys.
Let me
So
correct.
if Haiti
I
haven't got
think
an
we
armada,
did
then
have
no
to
one
give
does.
them optics due to a bug. Despite us giving embarking to sailing, it was working around 40% of the time, and depending on the computer. I remember Lax was the only one that did not have this as a bug.
I should have run the
Me
game. I
and
said this from the start.
Rion. Yeah, me and Rion did, where it was not reliably doing it, where places like Falconham in particular, units were just being destroyed when they were forced to embark because they just didn't have it.
I think something we should do, for future ones, is instead of faffing about with giving civs techs, maybe, is put in the trait, just add in cannon bark, like the Polynesia trait has.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't do that, but oh well.
Probably would have made things a lot easier.
Side note, Luna, can you get headphones or something? Because I think we're bleeding. Our audio is bleeding into you a little bit.
So is it Tonga time?
I think it's Tonga time.
So now we need to watch the trailer for the other side of heaven.
Yeah. I still haven't seen Other Side of Heaven 1. Is that going to matter?
I didn't.
Probably basically yes. I put it in CBR discussion, man.
For those who weren't here for the 5-hour Mammoth episode last week, The Other Side of Heaven is a film.
2001. So not even film. Old one. Disney have a load of old films that were live actions. There's one about the Fighting Prince of Donegal. There's one about Rob Roy McGregor.
It's a Disney film, am I right?
Yeah, it's a Disney film, but
yeah,
I knew about it and I was like, oh, it'll be one of the historical films from the 70s when they did biopics. No, it's 2001.
What's the name of this film?
The Other Side of Heaven.
It's about Mormon missionaries in Tonga, right?
With Anne Hathaway of Les Miserables fame.
It's the Moana prequel.
Oh my god!
Are we watching this now?
Quiet.
I'm gonna put the stream audio on so I can hear it.
I will build your chapels, Kolipoki, and you will fill them.
I'm having a baby.
Holy cow! Get out of the way! Move it, girl. That's it. That's it.
You will be serving in Neotobu. That is my island. Give them all my love.
Thank you for sending us there.
You should never ask a Tongan mother to choose between her husband and her son.
There will be challenges, but the Lord
This actually looks intense.
No. You stole my son, and he is dead.
This actually looks intense.
We will pray that he gains the strength. Thank you for your faith, and thank you for sharing it with me.
Oh no.
What is that lightning strike scene?
By the way, like the Twitch stream is like a few minutes behind, so your commentary
What
comes
is
a
that
little late.
lightning strike
But
scene?
what do you think of the other side of heaven too? Oh,
do we have to say anything else about Tonga, or are we
No. We have to talk about why this is the worst. I mean, say what you want about Papua, but of all the islands Tonga could have picked, this is like the second worst one.
Isn't it?
That trailer had a really good metaphor for Tonga, and it's the guy getting struck by lightning.
I think did someone get struck by lightning then?
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Oh man.
Also, the last place asks, wait, that's a sequel? Yes, it's a sequel from the 2001 film. So, fun fact, before we talk about lightning strikes in Tonga, yes, Tonga, the majority Christian religion in the nation of Tonga is Mormonism. That's actually very true, and The Other Side of Heaven tried to promote that. It's a Disney film, by the way, and they promised, like, in 2019, we're going to make another one, and it just so happens that they're doing it again. So back to Tonga as a civ.
Yeah.
Wasn't the thing Fire of Faith? Like the tagline? Yeah, Fire of Faith. So it's gone for, I feel like, just based on the title, I would say it's some kind of like action film, but it's just really not. It seems to be a film about pregnancy and not much else.
Guys, we haven't seen the film yet. There's actually a full car chase sequence around the whole island of Tonga Tapu. It's being directed by Michael Bay. I don't know if you...
So
Tonga is almost
so
impossible.
all of you who are watching this, just go out onto the Civ Battle Royale subreddit. Do your duty for the Lord and spread this meme.
Fun times.
We demand it. All four of you, go.
In any case, Tonga is
all four rankers that aren't. All four chat members that aren't just the rankers watching the stream.
Tonga is hey, there's more. There's Clo and there's ECH and there's Top Art and there's the last place and there's Zergzilla.
There's more people here than there was at the end of the last stream.
That was because it was 5:00 in the morning for me. So God Almighty. Anyway, Tonga, they're not doing great. I think we can move on.
Yeah, you can't really rate that much of their performance because it was only 30 turns.
So I guess now we're going to go to Asia.
Chloe, I
Should we do South Asia?
Just before we start, say that Chloe has brought up Israel Folau, and I don't necessarily see what his point is. I don't think Tonga's like Israel Folau, and I don't necessarily think religion is like Israel Folau.
I don't know what Israel Folau is.
He's a guy that was a rugby player that was recently sacked by using his social media platform to spread homophobia.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, what do you mean, Chloe?
I almost can't be bothered to go into it, and would rather.
He's an example of Mormonism, apparently.
I don't know. Might be.
So this is a great shot of most of the Indian theater right now.
Well, I'll just go through the rankings as we had them as usual. In first place, probably to no one's surprise, we had Nepal. Second, though, was Maratha. And then third was India. And fourth, I put in this area, was Tongu. So who do you want to start with, guys?
I think we have to start with Maratha, actually, because they are, I think, the big question mark here.
Well, they're the surprise. So I think when we had the Part 0 rankings when Nepal, India, and then I can't remember, Tonga and Maratha are about even. So Maratha have been the ones to rise up through the rankings, as it were. And it was a good first performance. I mean, Maratha's kind of faiblesse is if they settle, their weakness is if they settle south and then just kind of pot around in the bottom of the continent, get trapped in by India and Nepal, and they went the other way. They went north. Satara, right in the Gujarat, the Gujarat area, and then Pune.
It has been mentioned
right in the
that
middle of
the
India.
capital at turn 30 is still 3 pop, which either means they've been building a settler or they are dog shit.
Well,
it's probably the former because they have a ton of food tiles around them.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing was argued. The same thing was argued about Scotland and Tonga as well. That they're probably building settlers in their capitals.
Yeah, hopefully. In any case, it's they've already put out a settler, as I say, in Puna, and Satara is in a nice position. I mean,
if you look behind the nameplate for Satara, there's a settler hiding right behind there. So they're playing to settle north again.
That's amazing. So that's even better. So, I mean, I will say they haven't exactly got an army yet. India tend to militarize quite quickly. I think Satara could be in trouble if India decide they fancy it.
But India have a bigger problem in the form of Nepal.
Well, yes.
I think what the real risk is here is that Oman sends some trimemes around the Sri Pada and settle Sri Lanka, and actually get the South bit. I couldn't really. I think we've seen that in test with Oman actually settling South India.
Possibly, although I would say I don't think that's a huge problem. I think Maratha will be more likely to actually take those back off Oman, rather than Oman launch some huge, amazing invasion from. I think that's unlikely. I think more likely Maratha would pick it up if they were still alive.
So moving on to India and Nepal, I think. Okay. Most of us think Nepal are going to win this one.
Well, it's a weird one, isn't it? So they both have decent militaries, but I mean, Nepal's advantage is obvious. They settled right on Delhi's doorstep, which is scary.
Plus mountains.
It will have riled India. Plus mountains, obviously. It will have riled India, so India might actually be the ones to send a declaration their way. Who knows? But it's always nice to have a city buffer between the capital rather than have your capital right on the border. So I think that's one of the main reasons Nepal are higher. I will say, though, Nepal, another civ, who are sitting on 2 cities, whereas India's third city of Allahabad, I think it's a really nice position. I think that's a really
Nepal has a third settler headed out to the northwest.
Yeah, it's out of shot.
Fair enough. But India's third city, Allahabad, I think is a great position. It's right in the middle of the mountains there. On a kind of very natural frontier, but still quite far off from the capital. It's quite bold. I think that's really going to be a nice little defensive choke point they've found. So I think
it makes me very excited for Central Asia. I think that's going to be a big battlegrounds for not just 3 but 4 civilizations. We'll have the Seljuk Turks, Parthia, India, maybe Oman, maybe the Kazakhs. We'll see, and maybe even the Golden Horde might show up.
We'll see. So India, I'm not disappointed with India. I still think they're a very good civ. It's just, Nepal's
doing good right now.
Expect that, in fairness, from the early.
They're doing good right now.
They are doing good. We did expect that, so I'm not ruling out India.
And Nepal usually, like, of the AIs we've seen in this region, Nepal are probably the best.
Yes, I'd agree.
I would say completely ahistorically, but
well, that's what I think I said that last session. Yeah, it's one of those civs that just don't really behave too much.
I wouldn't call it unprecedented. Prithvi Narayan and the Gurkhas. I mean, to this day, the royal guard of Queen Elizabeth II are the Gurkhas. I mean, they're famous. They are world-renowned for their militaristic prowess. It just doesn't show because it's a tiny Himalayan nation. And what are they going to do? Declare war on a nation that has nukes and that was capable of building nukes, built them, then dismantled them because they actually wanted to follow the Geneva Convention and
annex Bhutan. Wait, they don't actually.
They don't border Bhutan, and why would you ever do that?
What they should have done was when Sikkim was independent, invaded Sikkim, and then got Bhutan through Sikkim. Come on, that's just common sense.
Of course.
Listen, we can talk about how we would all play Crusader Kings 2 all day, but
I was going to say actually, I'm pretty sure the borders in it's either EU4 or the 0 AD mod for EU4 are actually bigger than their current political borders, so they used to be bigger.
Fair. Anyway, Nepal, impressive. India, pretty impressive. Maratha, impressive. Who else? Tongu.
Yeah, Tongu.
Well, at the moment
also,
they are. They
you know,
have
It's
two
sad
cities
because
again.
that's exactly what we didn't want to happen with the Tongu.
J-Man, can you put the meme that Chloe just put in the Discord on screen?
Yeah, so Tongu are a civ who they either Burma the hell up, or they actually do expand and build a nice empire. But at the moment, we're definitely seeing the former, and that's really sad because here's the thing about Tongu: they'll probably be around for a while. They have a lot of space. They don't have many natural enemies nearby, so it's very disappointing when they decide to sleep because it feels like just a waste of space. Yeah, we'll see.
I mean,
we'll keep an eye on them because
there's a precedent for these two civs in CHG's Mark 6 when Maratha and Tongu started next to each other, and I'm pretty sure Maratha came out on top like by a long way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Tongu ECH says Tongu went down 19 ranks. That is true. We I think possibly a little overranked in the Part 0 rankings. I think
Well,
maybe
the thing is that Tongu isn't always bad, and it's just sad they're in such a poor position.
One thing,
and this is certainly not the best of Emerald Range's Burmas.
Oh yeah,
Probably
No, I
the
think
one that can move its
of the other
capitals.
three are better.
Kanyumpong.
Kombong is very
The best
strong.
AI
Kombong
is
very
actually
strong.
Hong San's British Burma.
Yes, although I don't really want them.
the thing for Tongu is one thing. If you see this the screenshot right now, is that Canton sending a settler west, and that might change things for Tongu. Might start like wars between them and Canton in the future.
The terrain of this area is so rough that it's hard to see any productive wars happening in it anytime soon. I would also say Tongu's AI is not supposed to be bad. I mean, they won a round of Groundhog Day when they were in it. But they really are not notable. They've built one military unit and no settlers since they got started.
Yeah, Zergzilla says, I feel it's a bit harsh to dock Tongu so much for doing nothing when there wasn't really much for them to do this episode, kind of like Canton. But here's the thing with both Tongu and Canton. If there's not much for you to do, expand. You know, there wasn't much for New Zealand to do, for example, but they built 4 cities. There wasn't much for the Kamloops to do, so they built a bunch of settlers. Pardon me, sorry, they built a bunch of settlers.
If
Métis,
people are going to dogpile on Scotland for having so low pop, look at the population of the two cities that the Tongu have in comparison. What do you value more, cities or population?
Their pop is dismal.
But if you look at Canton, right?
Like
to the
it just
north,
is.
they're even
Look
worse.
at Canton. Yeah, Canton.
Theirs is even worse. Yeah, I know. I ranked Canton much lower than Tongu.
Again, it means
I just ranked Scotland low because the Isle of Man settled the British Isles. Okay, I have nothing against their cities.
But that's actually
We'll get to Europe. We'll
their
get
pop
to
is
Europe.
not a
Scotland
factor.
better.
Guys, we'll get to
Man
Europe.
settling Douglas
We're gonna
and
have a
Wales
fight
actually
in
makes
Europe.
Scotland.
We have time. I think we can move on to
anyways,
South Asia, though. We can go to
I want to
Central
give a
Asia.
quick thing on Tongu. They could bore, but it's unlikely. I have seen them turtle in a lot of games, and then just suddenly say, "Oh yeah, I own Korea now." Shrug.
Yeah, maybe.
That happens. It's just unlikely. Don't put your bets on it. Honestly, Tongu, Snoryak 2.0.
We'll see.
Agree.
We're going to go to the Middle East and Central Asia now, guys. So I kind of put this in one big mega nation. I also will say I've included Golden Horde in this ranking. I also put them in the Europe ranking because I'm not really sure if they're a Middle Eastern civ or a European civ yet. I think we'll find out as the game continues which one they decide
They're
to play
going to
with
be
more.
a dead civ soon.
Well, we'll see. But here's the ranking we have of Central Asia. In top, Kazakhs. Second, Palmyra. Third, Oman. Fourth, Parthia. Fifth, the Seljuks. Sixth, the Golden Horde. And in last place, the Nenets.
So do you want to get the Nenets out of the way first? They did nothing this part.
They
They're
did
entirely boring. Let me just say
This is
one
completely what's expected of them. I'm not at all shocked by this performance.
What, as Admiral Cloudberg's Russian game has just shown, the Nenets lost cities to Svalbard in a game.
That's a different Nenets, but this one is even worse. So it's fair.
I don't
But
think.
yeah, they did the other Nenets, the better Nenets in that Russia test did lose cities to Svalbard, and that was kind of disgraceful.
It's not a. It's not. They're not. They're not a great civ. Now, I will say they have one thing going for them, and it's nothing they did, but it's just that the Kazakhs have underperformed in part one. If the Kazakhs kind of settled 2 cities to the north of them or whatever,
But they haven't.
Actually, they have 2 more settlers going out. They just haven't
the
placed
Kazakhs
them
have
yet.
4.
I think
We'll
they're
have
not
4 cities.
underperforming. I corrected them down to number 2 in my rankings because I felt that maybe that was. I didn't think that was because of anything they did. That was just sort of a correction of general error from part 0.
Yeah, fair. I don't think there's much to say on the Nenettes. They have a terrible starting location. They have a terrible AI, and so far, nothing they've done has said, "Hey, this is gonna be a especially good game for them."
We pushed them up the rankings because one good sign, they settled south, and they also settled on a river. That bears worth mentioning, and they also have a larger military than the Evenks, so it's not the worst.
That's not saying a lot.
Congratulations. You're not the worst. Everyone give a round of applause.
But they are the worst in this region.
Yeah.
Let's move south to the Kazakhs, because we've kind of started talking about them already.
Yeah, the Kazakhs are like, if we're going to rank Uruguay top 10, we have to keep the Kazakhs top 10 because they're doing better than Uruguay.
That's incredibly meta, and we'll get onto Uruguay in good time. But I agree with what Cloudberg said. The Kazakhs, they do have those 2 settlers on the way. So here's the thing about the Kazakhs. They don't really need to be fast and expanding for 2 reasons. Number 1, they have ample space. And number 2, they have one of those UAs like the Sami, and obviously most iconically like the Shoshone, which gives extra territory when they settle a city. For the Kazakhs, it's plains, which you may have noticed they start near quite a few.
Yeah, just looking at Astana there, it's got something like 17 tiles.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
All of which are improved by farmland.
Yeah, so that they can basically just take their time and still get quite a lot of territory underneath their belt, which they can fill out with cities later in the classic Inuit style of smashing as many cities as possible.
Parthia do look to be feeding them that city in the mountains.
Parthia what? Sorry, say again.
I disagree.
Well, it's not guaranteed yet, but I could really easily see both of those Kazakh settlers going like straight south and then taking the city.
This is an entirely typical start for the Kazakhs in my experience. They look a little slow at first, and then they just really bulk up fast in the towards the end of the early game and into the mid game. In fact, they're currently winning my Russia AI test in Civ AI games.
And here's the thing: in some games, that is a real bug for them. In close games or in games where they don't have that much space to start, it's like, well, if they can't get the really early game, they can't grab the land really early on, then they're going to fall behind. But that's just not the case here. They have so much land. By the Voronoi diagrams that Aaron made, they have more land than any other civ. So yeah, the reason Zimbabwe have overtaken them is because Zimbabwe are excellent and also impressed a lot in this first round. So it's not shade against the Kazakhs by any mean.
And also the Métis actually, the other one that went up was the Métis because they settled like 5 cities.
Yeah, again, we'll get to that.
I think
the Golden Horde.
I was just going to say, regarding the Kazakhs, the only thing that could really stop them is if really all their neighbors aggressively settle towards them. And I don't think that's going to happen.
The only one
well, how many cities?
Is the Nenets, and it's the Nenets.
Well, yeah.
Oh dear.
Any cities in Nenets settle are more than likely going to be Kazakh soon.
Yes. So if we're going to talk about the gold, I will say the rework, they look really cool now. They're cool civ.
Well, yeah, their icon actually works.
Yeah,
this is the Golden Horde.
Yeah.
They don't appear to have belts any military units since the ones they got for free to start.
No, and
they do not.
Goths are really bulking up.
Yeah, they
it's not a position you want to be in with the Goths. I mean, we'll get on to the Goths in good time, but I will say
the Golden Horde did settle a good city in Sarayburka because it's defensible. It wasn't the best choice. They could afford settled a few other people, but if they are not going to build military units, the best thing they can do is try to become as Afghanistani as possible.
True. I mean, I think what's hilarious about that settle of Sarayburka is that a Golden Horde for some just like snuck into the Caucasus region by almost accident and got voted in as the Caucasus Civ, and we were all kind of grumbling. And it's almost like they came out of the gate in part 1 and were like, "No, guys, we're Caucasus, look," and plonked us down in. I think Dagestan is where I ended up putting it. In just very, very south of Russia.
Aren't the Khazars eligible for Caucasus?
Yes, the Khazars, I think, were also. So the Khazars start in Itil, which
where that hill is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just south of Astrakhan, so it's kind of on the Caspian in the Volga Delta. So it's a little bit south of where the Golden Horde start. A bit further towards the Caucasus. Still demonstrably not in the Caucasus, but.
We had to be fair because those two civs start so close to other voting regions, and if a Caucasus civilization came in, it would just be a terrible spot. It would be like, putting Venezuela next to Gran Colombia.
But anyway, the Golden Horde, yeah, we can't say it was a good start for them at all. But on the other hand, when it comes to their main current enemy being the Goths, the thing about the Goths is they built a huge army, but sure, the Golden Horde are looking open, but the Muscovy are looking 100 times more open and 100 times juicier, and also even nearer to the Goths than the Golden Horde are. So I almost think that maybe the Goths have the advantage there, that they could get distracted and the Golden Horde could roam free.
Yeah, Goths have also locked in on us straight away. So.
I can speak from experience. Golden Horde loves to turtle up and then just suddenly turn all of its factories in like every single bit of its industry, just unit, and then they just fill up and then they go back to turtling, sometimes forgetting when they're losing their capital to switch back to military.
Yeah, I think the other thing regarding the Golden Horde was actually a tangent, but Cloudberg, you know how Delia's name used to be like Sarai Cat? Is that anything in relation to the Golden Horde Sarai stuff? Or is that just like
it's I don't know what it means, but it's really common across many Mongol states. Like the Golden Horde is the successor state of the Mongol Empire. It was one of the 4 pieces that broke away from it after it disintegrated, and so I don't know what it means, but it's like
it's Persian for palace. It's Persian for palace.
Yeah, also, if you're really interested in Golden Horde history, it was by far the largest and longest lasting of all the Mongol Empire successor states.
Yes.
So
well, actually, the Crimean Khanate only stopped existing in the 1850s.
You're right. I forgot about the Crimean.
That's when the Mongols.
Wasn't one the largest too?
No, the Golden Horde were at one point the largest success. Well, it was at one point the largest successor state in the history of the Mongol successor states. But no other successor state got to its close to its size.
Well, I feel
Yuan
like it's kind
was
of cheating
bigger.
though, because I feel like it's kind of cheating with the Golden Horde because a lot of that land is going to be like almost empty Siberia that isn't exactly hard to say, oh yeah, we own that.
Well,
whereas
they did.
The Yuan dynasty literally conquered all of China, which is
a lot of it was like they sort of ruled, quote unquote, a lot of the Russian principalities, and they would those Russian principalities would pay tribute, and that was about it. Like the Golden Horde, they were vassals, and they didn't have a lot of land that was like their own.
Yeah,
but I guess
just basically the Volga.
The
Volga.
Yeah, talking about the Crimean ones. I saw a Civ design, I think, for like there might already be one before the 1850s Crimean Cossacks or whatever.
That'd be fun. The Khanate, not Cossacks. Cossacks are very different.
But it was definitely like something in that area, the Lithuania accent a bit.
So I guess ECH says, funnily, wasn't it Muscovy that kind of broke that up? I guess you mean the vassalization system. It was, it kind of was because they maneuvered themselves into the position where they were collecting the tribute and then giving it to the Golden Horde, and so they always just took a little bit for themselves, and that's part of how it got powerful.
Yeah,
we should say,
Ivan the Third money bags, right? I
we should
remember
say-
my Russian history professor just going, yeah, and just classic Russia. Every time they'd come for tribute, they'd hide a bunch and then skim off the top. And then when they had enough money, they conquered all the Russian principalities and went, nope, you can't cross the Volga. Try and you'll...
We should say Admiral Cloudberg is a Russian history major, so I believe what he does.
Not Russian history, Russian everything.
Russian everything major.
Cloudberg will now narrate the next two parts.
But we
of the
are...
mission.
Is
We are
Cloudberg
in
the opposite of
my
Oski?
special territory because since this is the Middle Eastern voting area, let's talk about not Palmyra, but how about my good boys that live in Zanzibar?
Oman.
Zanzibar yet.
Oh, he doesn't currently live in Zanzibar. That was my power ranking image. Yeah. So
Okay, wait. I know that that's a meme because Oman did have Zanzibar, but did the Sultan live in Zanzibar?
Yeah, the capital of
Zanzibar
Oman
now.
was Zanzibar at one point.
He just does. Okay. It's a Bill Wirtz. It's a Bill Wirtz meme. It's a
Oh,
classic
I
Bill Wirtz
don't
meme.
really follow Bill Wirtz.
History of the
You
world.
don't need to. You just know there's 2 videos. That's it.
Yeah,
History of Japan and History of the World. Just watch those 2. Go away and do it. Anyway.
I've watched them. Wasn't a big fan.
Oh man, I'm actually. I will say I'm actually a very big Bill Wirtz fan. As in, I knew about Bill Wirtz a long ass time before those videos. I've followed him for a while.
Wait,
and
is that
I love his songs. His songs are absolute bops.
is that second Oman city Ristak or Pistak?
Rustak should be.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. I thought it was
But you can call it
PISTAK.
Pistak if you want. So Oman, they have 3 cities down.
With
Rustak
2
is
settlers.
pretty much yes, with 2 settlers. That's the crucial part. Rustak is pretty much exactly what you'd expect the city to be, but and then what's the other one called?
Nizwa.
Nizwa is a little bit further up the coast, around the Qatar area. So, not a bad settle. We're very impressed.
Oman
with
are
them.
good. Yeah, Oman are very good sometimes.
But it's those
so.
2 other settlers that we're pleased with. So Oman, again, they're one of those civs that they're patchy, but when they're expansive, they're expansive. And so far, the evidence shows that they've rolled really well this game. So it's
Oman,
really interesting to see what they do.
Oman is usually a turtle, so the fact that they're building this many settlers is a very good sign. That they might be that their performance when they won the AI Middle East on Civ AI games might not be a fluke.
Feel
they
that they're
might
going to
be
get
willing
trapped.
to repeat.
They're going to get trapped in their peninsula a little bit still. Until we see them break out of the Arabian Peninsula, I'm going to be a little bit anxious.
With the way you've seen all the neighbors settling, so Palmyra are going north and probably east. Seljuks are going west and east. We could very feasibly see them get the entirety of the eastern side of the Red Sea, which is some pretty good line of floodplains.
Another spot that they could grab, even though it's out of their region, since Maratha is settling north, they're more likely to take a lot more South Indian land.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we've seen a lot in test games, and I think we talked about it a little before with when we're talking about Maratha.
And then we've even seen a man in test settle Horn of Africa. So
yes, and obviously at some point they will settle Zanzibar. I'm very certain of it. It will happen, guys. I promise you.
Just IG'd it in
No, it will happen. It will happen. That's why I have the picture in the PR.
It is hard coded that eventually with techno, he's just written in that by turn 100 they will go to this tile and settle a city.
It's in the Uruguay mod. He coded it in for Oman in the he put in. And it will also become a capital as soon as it's settled because the Sultan of Oman does live in Zanzibar.
Just where he lives.
It's just where
you don't question
it. Anyway, that's Oman. Palmyra had a interesting start. We have them second in the region. Just
I think we hyped them really. I know Palmyra. All I've heard is they're meant to be this amazing world-beating AI, and we've seen it. I've seen it a bit. But
they're not.
So far,
they're not that. Their AI is average in all my experience. I've never seen them be.
No, I think they're phenomenal.
Really, to write home about.
Why were they so hyped up then?
I don't know.
Because
I wasn't the one
I
doing
like-
that.
Because Laxrax loves them. This is the
'Cause I like
Laxrax
them.
hypes up a Civ, and then
I
you're
love-
like,
I
oh wow, they must be great.
It's like Poverty Point.
I
They're
love
fine.
Palmyra. Their AI is just average.
I like them. I like their colors a lot, and their leader is awesome. That's why they're hyped.
So basically, you
but-
rank the Civ because you'd like to fuck the Civ and its colors.
I don't rank. I haven't ranked that high. Anyway, I will say though, it was a good start for Palmyra. They're a little lax on settlers. I'm a little bit worried about that. But second city of Antioch, very strong, and more importantly, the Ottomans settled away. The Seljuks settled away.
Yeah.
Nubia settled away. Well, Nubia didn't settle that near them.
I said in the PR slide, the image caption, that in this timeline, the Ottomans are Byzantium and Palmyra is the Ottomans. And
Yeah.
I say this because Palmyra has completely blocked off Eastern Anatolia. The Ottomans aren't going to get it, and that's really bad for the Ottomans, and it's good for Palmyra just because they won't have to worry about the Ottomans because they're screwed.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really good start for Palmyra. I will say, obviously, they are the Middle Eastern Civ, and Middle Eastern Civs in world AI games, they don't tend to have great shelf
Oh yeah,
lives.
like if you look at the
because-
shot that's on the stream right now, Palmyra might actually like to get cut off by Seljuks.
Well, I'm of the opinion that anything
possible.
Celtic settles is Palmyran waiting to be. Because I
agree.
really have no
I
faith in
think
the
if the Seljuks settle in the Tigris and Euphrates floodplain, Palmyra will just declare war on them and take it. Honestly,
Yeah, I
think
agree.
I have faith in the Seljuks. I've ranked them 8th. I want the Seljuks to do well.
Yes,
So
you did rank them
I've changed my-
8th. So
you are
I've changed my
delusional.
flair on-
let's go to the Seljuks now then, because Lordy, tell us why you have them that high, because you're the only
So-
person to have them that high. They are one of the highest
Palmyra?
deviations, I should say.
Yeah,
Seljuks.
they have 13.6 deviation. Palmyra
Yes.
have come in like I was expecting. Oh god, Palmyra are going to just run them over, just cream them.
Uh-huh.
But no, Palmyra have gone the other way. Palmyra, yeah, they've got military, but they don't look like these amazing gods of civs. Then on the other
Yeah.
side, you've got Parthia, who are sometimes really strong, sometimes really aggressive, who haven't been. They've only built 3 cities, and one of them's towards the Kazakhs. They built another city towards the east. So they're probably not going to be a major threat, which is like what usually happens in the test is the Parthians roll over the Seljuks. And Seljuks managed to settle a couple of good cities, they've got a couple of good settlers out. Oman seems to be going south rather than north. And
Well, they might have gone
everything's sort of
both ways.
Well, they have, but their 2 settlers are like both in the south now.
Yeah. I will say I think it's too early to call on Parthia. If we kind of merge the Parthia and Seljuks talk, because they're very closely related.
Yeah.
I think Parthia is too early to call.
Only-
They have a
only
few
one
kind
of them
weird
really.
cities. Depends where the Kazakhs go. It depends where even India goes, given that they just founded Allahabad nearby as well. But at the moment, Parthia I don't think are looking weak by any means. I still think Parthia are a much stronger civ than the Seljuks in general.
I agree.
The thing I will say about the Seljuks is that of the cities they founded so far, it doesn't make the best use of their terrain. Hamadan is kind of sitting there in the open, whereas there's so many nice mountain spots for cities around there. I think it's a real shame the Seljuks haven't gone, okay, we're in the middle of the world. We need to get some nice fortified positions, some nice kind of Alamut Citadel-style town. Instead they've sort of gone straight into the open plains of an area called Balochistan. And
I ran. I also want to say I ran a ton of test games and stuff on a Middle East map for preparing for the AI Middle East game. And whenever a civ in Persia settled onto the outlet of the Tigris and Euphrates, so the Seljuks did with Ray, they always lost it to a civ in the Arabian Peninsula, every single time. And I don't see why that won't happen here. I think Oman is going to take that.
Yeah,
Not
I
to mention they have the naval bias, so they could just swoop in and snipe it with one of their triremes.
Is Ray on the coast?
It is.
Yes. Oh wow! I thought it was. Okay, I mean that's
Yeah,
even
it's
worse. Although,
coastal.
who knows? Maybe the Seljuks. Maybe what was holding the Seljuks back is that they've got a huge naval focus and they start in It's unlikely. It's unlikely.
I've never
we'll see.
heard of the Turks having a navy before, so I'd be surprised.
They are the Sea Turks.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have any historical.
They make
elements,
fish
but-
kebab.
Oh God. So I think. Do you know what? If I will say something about the Middle East in general, I think it's probably the most uncertain region. I actually don't think any of the 4 civs had particularly bad starts, and so I think at the moment I'm still looking forward to seeing what happens. I mean, I obviously know what happens in the near future. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in
I will also
in
say,
the
like,
future.
regarding art, I think we have some of the biggest like love-hate relationships with the colors because some people just hate Parthia for no reason.
I don't like Parthia's colors.
Yeah, it's because you're deranged. I don't know what's wrong with.
I think their colors are too muddy. They just
can't read them.
They look sort of like they've been injected with a nice dose of gray.
We just had in Twitch chat. We have in consecutive messages. I really like Parthia's colors, and then next one, Parthia's colors are bad.
They are bad. I wrote the city list for the CBRX. I don't know if I've mentioned that.
Yeah, you did. You mentioned it
a few times. But anyway, I found myself when doing the part squinting at the screen, being like, "Is that Hecatompylos? Right? Okay, cool." Like,
so if you don't like Parthia. So, Lax, I assume you absolutely hate JFD's Lithuania.
I hate Lithuania for different reasons because every time I've used them for anything, they've never built a single settler, which makes no sense because Lithuania in the Middle Ages to the Renaissance were one of the biggest nations in all of Europe.
Are we
That's
talking
weird because...
Is this Gediminas?
Yeah,
I'm talking about Gediminas.
They're expensive.
He's done just fine whenever I've used them.
I think I should use
the other thing that we don't
There
like
must be something wrong with mine.
The other thing about Lithuania, JFD's Lithuania, is that he's never patched the fact that their UU still has the settler.
Oh, really? This is a call-out post to Gifford. Gifford, if you're out there, we don't care that you just made the Indo-Greeks. Fix Lithuania, God.
As a Greek man, I do care that they made the Indo-Greeks.
I'm so happy.
Can we shout out that Jiff has been on fire recently? He's 94 civs released now, I think, which means that...
And that's in Civ 5.
Absolute mad.
Civ 6, he's got loads as well.
Which means he said that his alternate Hawaii will be number 100. So we will get Lily if he releases 5 more civs soon.
Which he should do. And I do got to say, the Indo-Greeks is a civ that I've wanted for ages now. They're one of my favourite just nations in history, so I'm happy.
Yeah,
yes, I'll be campaigning for them in CBRX Season 2.
I do have a design for a Seleucid with a elephant UU. But
who's this? Sorry,
based Seleucids.
Oh, Seleucids. Have we got a Seleucid?
Yeah, there's 2 different ones.
They're both Seleucus the first, and mine's Antiochus the third.
Okay. What else? We've got Ptolemy. I guess we could have a post Alexander Macedonia, and then I think you've kind of got them all.
I was going to say
Antagonids. Have we got Antigonid yet?
Maybe
we do have an Antagonids, I believe.
Well, also, Megara, however you pronounce it, really good.
Megara, yeah, we can do
Megara.
Great.
Okay.
Solution.
Anyway.
Should we do Africa or Europe next? What do people want to
do?
I say Africa.
Let
someone else decide.
Africa, yeah.
Let's do Africa so we can talk about my boys.
Well, I'll get the... just give me one moment. Here's the ranking. In first place, unsurprisingly, Zimbabwe. But then in second place, more surprisingly, Benin. Third place, Songhai. Fourth place, Ndongo. Fifth place, Beta Israel. Sixth place,
Beta.
Well, is it beta? Because we're not.
Is it literally beta?
It's beta.
That was my image for.
Yeah, but you had the Greek letter, which it isn't. It got nothing to do with that. It means House of Israel. So I don't know how you pronounce it.
The Semitic Hebrew the Semitic Hebrew languages and the Greek languages are kind of related. So it's not beta, it's not beta, it's beta.
Look, guys, they really should be Semyon anyway, so let's just call it Semyon.
Honestly, they should be Semyon. I don't want to go beta Israel.
No, the
Sixth
reason why they're not
place.
semi is because we can guarantee someone will misread it as semen.
Yeah, that is genuinely the only reason. 6th place, Algeria. 7th place, Nubia. 8th place, J-Man's Libya. And in last place, Madagascar.
We're not last place. Woo!
This is another interesting region, I think, where I wouldn't point at any of these civs and say they're doing badly at this point. I think everyone's doing okay, possibly with the exception of Madagascar. Definitely had a bad first part, but again, they've still got space, they've still got time, so I'm not going to rule them out. However, let's start with the big name story: Zimbabwe. Why are they first?
Oh God, I gotta change all of Africa.
Hashtag remove Zimbabwe.
I mean, the first thing to say is Zimbabwe were obviously highly ranked in our Part 0 rankings, just behind Kazakhs in second place.
Basically, just what we have here is imagine the Boers, but without the Zulu.
So you have to say it again. You were kind of broken.
Yeah.
Imagine having the Boers, Civ, but without the Zulu.
Yeah, because the Zulu got replaced with Madagascar, who are just not going to be a factor for the
actually
for
Madagascar
Zimbabwe
are
at this point.
the East Africa region.
Golly gee, a South African civ settling up against their neighbors. Where have I seen this before?
Well,
they are the Boers, both. They're the BB key. They are absolutely madhouse. I'm actually quite amazed with what they have done already. I'm actually kind of worried now. Not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, they.
Paul Kruger knew he was
Well,
losing the CBRX. He just hid inside Zimbabwe's brain.
Hid inside Great Zimbabwe.
I will add the Boers had a very low war bias, and Zimbabwe's is just as low, if not lower.
Yes. Now I will.
Yes.
I call everyone back to the Last Sword AI game that Kirby ATK ran, where Zimbabwe built a lovely little core with a lovely little army, and I don't think declared war, or even got declared war on, because who would? Because they were the highest in tech and the highest in military, but they just sat there on 3-6.
do what Sami do, and eventually just accidentally roll over their neighbours.
Well, we'll see. But here's the thing: while Zimbabwe do have that nice 4-city core at the moment, their neighbours are Ndongo, who aren't to be sniffed at, I don't think. I think they're ranked a little low in our current rankings. And I think that's mainly just because Zimbabwe were first, so people naturally ranked Ndongo lower. But Ndongo aren't to be sniffed at. They're still a strong civ. They're stronger than Congo were. And they can use their really natty UA as well, so look out for that. And I don't think it's going to be as easy to just kind of, as I say, roll over, take out Ndongo as it was Congo.
Just so you're aware, I think you're the first person I've ever heard unironically use the word natty.
Unironically use the word what, sorry?
Natty.
Natty. Yeah, I don't know why I say it, natty, I just do. It's one of my many weird vocabs.
Two things to point out, though. Zimbabwe are currently sitting on a very small military, despite having 4 cities, and the 4 settle on the Ndongo. But the Ndongo have a settler going north, granted, which will probably pincer off the Benin or Beta Israel, and have a much larger military and even a great general, which just goes to show that even though Zimbabwe might have picked liberty, Ndongo chose honor and got that great general early on.
Ndongo is starting to pump out archers, which is a good sign. We should see their military increase in size considerably next part. And if Zimbabwe don't match that, then we could see a repeat of some of the tests where Zimbabwe expanded better, but then lost a bunch of their early cities to Ndongo.
I think that's very likely. I think, not that I don't think Zimbabwe don't deserve first. I definitely think they do deserve first at the current point. But at the same time, I think talking about it being, this is, you already see Boas again, I would hold your horse. This is very early doors.
I mean,
back in Mark II, we thought Yakutia were going to be the ones to fear. So I don't think you can really call anything right now.
Yeah, I think also this Zimbabwe civ isn't the broken one. Well, all the other Zimbabwe civs are broken. You've got this one, and you've got text key leader _ Mugabe.
Yes.
and his terrible one.
What do you mean? That's the best Zimbabwe civ.
It doesn't sound that broken. What are you talking about?
It has 12 city names.
It gets like +2 food from farms.
I will say the city
Basically,
names,
the guy who coded the Zimbabwe mod did a little bit of a blunder, and he didn't read through the entirety of the modding walkthrough, and basically just assumed if he put in text key civ blah 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 blah, it would automatically default to what he wanted, and oh boy was he wrong.
That was like my first ever XML edit that I ever tried to do. I did the same thing, but I was 12. Maybe he's also 12. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, Zimbabwe Empire.
A 12-year-old that knows who Robert Mugabe is and has access to a computer where he can code a civilization.
Fun fact about me. I went to school with somebody. Oh, this is not fun fact. This is a fun fact about somebody I went to school with. It's got nothing to do with me. Somebody I went to school with once gave flowers to Robert Mugabe.
Whoa, that's cool.
There you go. I don't know why. I can't remember the context.
Yeah. Here's the trade of that Zimbabwe civ. Extra production food and gold from plantations, and combat bonus near plantations for units. Extra 2 food from all strategic resources.
Oh god.
And you're positive this is the last sword one, right? Not the other one?
This isn't the last one.
This is the Mugabe one.
This is by a guy whose Steam name is in binary.
But in any case, Zimbabwe, they're doing well, no doubt about it. But we'll have to keep an eye on them to see. I am anxious about that military score. We'll have to see if a military pops up in the next couple of parts. Let's go to Songhai, Benin, because I think it's interesting.
Before we go to Songhai, Benin, since they're just in the next 5 seconds anyway, Madagascar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right, moving on.
Here's a big question. Where's their military?
Well,
the triremes got deleted.
Here's the issue. I think there was an error with their triremes where they went somewhere. They went to heaven a little early. I'm not sure why that happened. I've been told by BC that it didn't affect the game too much, which probably suggests Madagascar.
Rion, you son of a...
But yeah, some triremes.
So maybe we should be ranking Madagascar higher.
Who knows? Hang on.
Rank Madagascar in the top 10 for the rest of the game because we know they're going to.
I'm fucking tilted.
Before everyone writes,
I told him to do this.
Before everyone writes angry letters to Rion and demands that he be executed, please know that Coyote actually ran the first 50 turns, so you should be sending your angry letters to Coyote.
All right, time to leave.
Hashtag blame Coyote.
Everyone, come here. Come on.
Can we get
Thanks. I'll make sure to address my death threats correctly.
Yeah, please do.
Blame Coyote 2019.
There we go.
Blame Coyote.
Hashtag the Madagascar crisis. Already when I do a Holy Force Seabrooks
Can we get that trending on Twitter?
We're not alone gate.
Red DVD forever, says Clone Am in chat.
I did have to write a turn paper on Queen Rana Valona the first.
Yeah.
And I must say, she gets a bad rep. I mean, there is slavery, but all the Madagascaran,
we've all the nations.
No, not even that. It's just that was kind of common practice in Madagascar. But they kind of overplay her bloodthirstiness. Mostly it was she basically took 3 French sailors captive because they bombarded the coast of her country. And then basically let them roam freely. Didn't even put them in prisons. And even sent them back home. But because she did manage to defend her country from a naval invasion by the French went all out on the press and were like, "Oh, she's a bloodthirsty animal."
That sounds like the media, all right. Can I ask a question as well, just while we're on the topic?
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't know shit about Imarina. I'll be honest. Imarina being the kingdom that Rana Valona was the queen of in Madagascar, because the mod is technically just that one kingdom. It doesn't actually represent Madagascar as a whole, and that's why you'll see a lot of the cities early on are very specific to that central region. Anyway. Was it common to have queens of that region? Was there a it was usually male succession?
Rana Valona the first, I think she was like the second, if not the first queen of the entire kingdom of Imarina's history.
Well, there you go.
basically her son was the son of so her husband was king and her son was king, but her son died at a very, very young age. And
so she like woozy and that shit.
Right.
Yeah, basically. She did have one more kid, I think, or maybe it was like a nephew, but he was like a toddler, if not an infant. So she just basically went, well, I'm not going to be a regent. I'm just going to actually be queen. And I think after she died, I think another woman took over. So
she ran of London the second, one would presume, if she's the first.
No. There was no Rana Valona the second.
Okay.
I think she's the only one of her name, Rana Valona the first.
Okay. She's just in case there will be a second. We're still waiting on the second.
We don't know when.
But
is Madagascar still a kingdom or is it a republic?
No, it's republic. I think. I'm pretty sure it's not a kingdom.
It's
Correct
a
me if
republic.
I'm wrong in the chat.
Yeah, it is.
Malagasy Republic.
Yes, that's correct.
Also, shout out to the Malagasy Republic. They are making their debut at the African Cup of Nations, and we have yet to see them play, but I'm excited for them.
Oh, well done, Madagascar. Okay, let's move on to Songhai and Benin, because I think this is a really interesting ranking in our rankings, where we have a civ that has founded 4 cities. Not many civs on the cylinder have founded 4 cities, that being Songhai, and Benin, who have 2 cities, are ranked higher than them. So does anybody want to kind of lead us
that is
on that?
mostly because Songhai have built no military and Benin have built a large military.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah.
So really, they both have 3 cities. Just one of them hasn't changed hands yet.
You're talking about Jenne. Jenne being the city that's kind of on Benin's doorstep. Well, Benin do need to declare war. I will say that needs to happen first. It doesn't always happen. Benin are quite defensive.
What I will say
Obviously,
is that
Benin,
Benin are defensive, but Songhai tend to militarize really quickly, like a ways into the game. So if they don't get declared war on, they will start to carp it eventually.
My biggest fear.
Yes, I think it's one of those things where
is if they just sit around and wait for the Songhai to declare war on them, the Songhai will just overrun them.
Yeah. I think this is one of those things where Benin are currently higher ranked than the Songhai, but if the situation hasn't really changed in 2 turns, we'll probably be flipping those around and putting Songhai higher.
Yeah, because
right
there
thinking
was a test where Songhai just ran over Benin and basically Israel.
There's been tests where both Songhai and Benin have been about 50-50 in tests. It's a really even area, which I'm happy about. Same with Algeria.
So Lax, why did you make Timbuktu like the spelling, the anglicized one, and not the beautiful French one?
Because, well, 2 reasons. Number 1, the English one is closer, I believe, to the Songhai pronunciation. But number 2, like, most egregiously, they spelt the French one wrong in the fucking vanilla game.
That is true.
My head in.
I mean, that's not their worst offense. Their worst offense was hiring whoever they hired for Attila the Hun's voice, and that poor translation.
If we're going back to,
I don't play with voice on. What does Attila sound like?
So it's not his voice itself, but they basically, I mean, from my understanding, they basically just pick up people who say, "Yeah, we can speak that language," and since Hunnic is such an old language, there are a lot of people who speak it.
No, there
but
aren't.
I guess this guy didn't actually speak the language and basically blustered his way through the entire thing. And we have translations of all the leaders, and they're all like, "This guy is speaking absolute nonsense right now."
The absolute worst is Ramses speaking Arabic.
Yeah, that's awful. That's awful because we actually do have some Egyptian language.
But at least he knew how to speak Arabic, dude.
I want to call bullshit on the Hunnic language being spoken by people today.
No, they don't speak it as like a first language, but people studied it. Know how.
Attila is not even supposed to be like, he's speaking Chuvash, not Hunnic, and what they have is someone who is really bad at speaking Chuvash.
Yeah, that's right. Because here's the thing: the Huns weren't a people; they were just a conglomeration. They were just lots of different steppes people. So I don't think they had a single language. If they did, it would have probably been I don't know, Turkic. I have no idea.
So my bad. I pulled the I speak this guy speaks Swiss thing again. So I apologize for that blunder myself. But point is, the guy didn't speak.
Yeah,
To be fair, Attila's voice sounds amazing, and I do agree. He does sound angry. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to have that many people playing Civ 5 who are native Chuvash speakers, and I think the personality is there. Which
well, I mean,
is more important. Probably.
On the wiki article on the Civ fandom wiki, the first thing it says is after the thing in square brackets, note wrong words, wrong tone, missing sounds.
Yeah, that's about right. In any case,
back to Songhai, they have an extra settler. They have a 5th settler.
They do,
and even though their military is not that big, the Benin could just sit around. And we also know that Ndongo is sending a settler north, which at the end of the day is going to cripple Benin.
I think if Benin don't have a great next part, we're going to be seeing them dropping in the rankings. But shan't speak too soon. Let's go on to Algeria and Libya. A little twosome.
James, do you want to defend Libya before we?
Well, we have Algeria higher than Libya at the moment, don't we? So.
Well, I can see why Algeria's ranked higher because they settled the 3rd city on turn 31 that you can't see here, but it's basically right where that settler is, where Algeria is like in the Tel Atlas. But about Libya. So, first of all, 2 great generals. Look at that shit. That shit's incredible.
Well, 2 days, are they not? Oh no, that's Algeria's. What's Libya's called?
So what's Libya's ability that allows them to get 2 great generals so early?
So the unique ability of Libya is for every desert tile that produces food, produce an equal amount of faith and great general points. Because basically Chrissy 15, when I was making the mod, said, listen, if you're going to have a bunch of great generals that can only make their unique improvement in the desert, then you best find a way to like have the player make a lot of them so that you can show them off. And I was like, that's fair. And I still don't disagree with them. But basically,
I was gonna say, that sounds like a little bit brokenly good.
It's brokenly good if you're the player. Because in all my time, granted, I've never seen, because nobody puts Libya in AI games. Looking at you, Cloudberg, we've like put them in the lottery 3 times and they still haven't got in.
Next time, I don't have any control over that.
Yes, you do. You're one that.
So you're saying I have control. I have control over that because I could theoretically cheat.
Or you could just have the one civ that you automatically have in be Libya. But it sucks because now I want Bora Bora in the next Groundhog Day. I'll
just make them my pick.
Yeah, can we also shout out quickly on the topic of Bora Bora? Jake Walrus Rails civs have been really cool.
Yeah, Jake Walrus Whale, Pork Bean, Vivala with his 3 Guyana's mod that he just released.
Nah. But yeah, I agree, like Vivala as well, especially has been really cool. I think the other one I really want to see is Grant's reworked Piskov come back out. Because Piskov is cool.
Piskov is awesome. But yeah, so the Al-Qaeda, what makes them so special is even though they can only make their citadels in the desert, the citadels produce food, which in turn works with the UA, meaning they'll also be getting faith and great general points out of their citadels. So that's what makes the Al-Qaeda so great. It's a shame, though, because you don't really see Libya come out on top, like really show what they're capable of until like the mid-late game, once they can build Akhdari cavalry, which replace the Great War Infantry, which is basically a weaker but faster cavalry unit. And when the cavalry unit dies, it becomes a vanilla Great War Infantry on the place it died.
That's how do we not
crazy.
Notice how strong
that
this is?
Sounds like it'll be great, but can they get there?
Relax, relax. Why are you fighting an animal?
Sorry, I have now stopped. I had an altercation with a bear that came into my house, so I had to get it out.
I was also going to say, J-Man, so compared to other civs, would you say that your Libya is Al Qaeda than everyone?
What about what did you say after Al Qaeda?
Are they Al Qaeda than everyone else?
Awful, right?
Awful. But I don't know. I probably wouldn't rank Libya too high, as much as I love them. Because from what I've seen, basically the way I made their AI was they make a strong navy, but they don't make that many military units on land, and they like to settle. So basically, imagine Yakutia without the military carpet, and that's
imagine Minoa, but starting in the desert.
Well, as Cloudberg has said, we haven't really reached the age of navies yet, so I think it's kind of too soon to call whether that'll be a bad move or not, because they obviously don't have a navy yet, but no one does. So
you're looking at their neighbor then, Algeria.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about Libya's religion before we get to Algeria?
Oh yeah, they got religion, Sunni. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Were they the religion founded in the first term?
The first religion.
Sorry, their first religion, yeah, which was expected. Yes, the only one founded so far. But yeah, we expected Libya to be an early religion founder. It's not a shock. They normally do, but it's good that they've picked some nice beliefs.
Yeah, guruship is really good. Because they have the UU, which is a great general. They'll build the improvements, and then they get production following the guruship.
Now, yes, will the great general actually build those improvements? That remains to be seen.
They also have stone circles, which is pretty decent if they can get the stone. Mandate of Heaven, I don't know what that does.
That's a scissor belief. Scissor made that.
Wait,
That's
you're
your
looking
cue,
for Mandate of Heaven?
Mandate of Heaven makes you pay 19.99 to access the China Civs in the EU4 web.
So the stone circles is buffed in this version. It's +1. I missed it. It's +1 culture, +1 production, and +2 faith from quarries.
Yeah, this is just a straight pull off of NQ mod, which overall buffs a lot of things. Yeah, 1 production, 1 culture, 2 faith from quarry.
To explain the beliefs, Lunar took a lot of the names of my beliefs, but he had his own little Pantheon mod. Because when I was making the beliefs, I was doing the belief names. I was taking it from that one Pantheon's Plus mod, which basically had a variant of each Pantheon and basically made 40 of them. And I renamed a bunch of them, and so Lunar took a bunch of the names and put them onto some of his own Pantheon beliefs. So that's basically what it is. So I don't really know what the beliefs are.
Okay.
So were they only taken from NQ mod, or were they taken from LEC mod and TAC mod?
I'm disappointed in the chat because
the attack mod, but it's almost identical between TAC and NQ. The person who was making the No Critters mod basically stopped updating it, and somebody said, "Hey, I'm gonna update it and put it more in line with how people wanted the NQ mod," because there was a very controversial update.
Yeah, I remember.
That caused the community to have a system.
There was the big shift between LEC and TAC.
I'm disappointed in the chat because normally they would have come in and told us exactly what the Mandate of Heaven belief does by now.
I have it written down here. It's a little bit long, and I took a screenshot, I believe, of the founder belief screen, so it didn't show anything. Granaries, barracks, shrines, libraries, monuments, and markets provide 1 food, 1 production, 1 faith, 1 science, 1 culture, and 1 gold, respectively.
Okay.
So basically,
busted.
No, not all together, respectively. Granaries have 1 food. Basically,
I was gonna say, well,
yeah, no, altogether that would have been ridiculous. Maybe as a reformation, but yeah, that would have been beyond busted. But no,
the beliefs are buffed in general. Most of the worst beliefs.
All of the beliefs are.
My Mandate of Heaven was a tribute to the Holy City by every city that followed the Pantheon. So that.
Yeah, no, this one was just completely different all around. It's just 1 food for a granary, 1 production for barracks, 1 faith for shrine, 1 science for library, 1 culture for monument, and 1 gold
So
for market.
it basically just improves.
It just improves all your early buildings. Honestly, the name was kind of just spit taked. A lot of the mod was made in around 4 days. With a lot of the stuff being tested. I wanted to make sure it had 100% compatibility and would work no matter what. Because I did not want my mod that I just threw together last second in order to hit a requirement to be the reason the Royale got shut down. So I did not want to go with any fancy Lua as much as my heart really wanted to. I just knew I wasn't in it. So I just quickly threw this around. Ideally, I want to go completely balls to the wall with season 2 and throw in a lot of other changes.
Can I just say now?
We used the community beliefs that we had that we took in like last year that were just absolutely.
Yeah, are we talking Mark III?
No, the ones that we took last year when we had like a giant community thing that was like, hey, suggest your own pantheons and beliefs and stuff, and the ones that were suggested were just absolutely.
Some of them are really fun, and I wish I could have like implemented them. There was one that was like, if you take a city, like 1 pop is decreased for every city or something stupid like that.
I think that was
so basically you take a city and just like completely sap it of all those population.
Well, yeah, I think there was one of mine that was like a Reformation belief that had like end times, and if you chose it, like there was like a timer that starts, and within like 100 turns or so, like anyone that's like any enemy civ that is not following your religion, basically has all their populations halved.
I'm pretty sure
that's ridiculous.
That is hilarious, especially for
that'd
an
be
AI
awesome.
game.
I think the other one, I think there was one I want to suggest, which is like you get faith from pillaging tiles, and counterpart reformation that like makes pillage tiles provide normal yields.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, none of this chat is making the release podcast.
Edited out straight up.
Yeah.
No, I want to say regarding Mark III, season 2, something that I found really good in my AI games is actually there's a couple of little mods that add in extra buildings in the ancient, medieval, and classical, and then Renaissance eras. Although I think we have Enlightenment eras, so that doesn't make a difference for Renaissance, but it just means civs grow a bit bigger and like get more production and things, and it really helps out like the civs with bad starts because they can actually get good stuff out of the cities.
Yeah, the number one thing that I kind of want to do on a round 2 Electric Boogaloo is I really want to slow down science a lot further. I think we did some good job like slowing down science so it wasn't way too ridiculous. But I absolutely love classical medieval era bonuses and seeing huge carpets just rolling down.
I think also maybe throw in Renaissance era revised just to add a bit more.
All that stuff aside, let's talk about Algeria.
Yes.
Algeria is there. Hi.
Yeah, okay.
Algeria had a very boring start. They do have 3 cities now. Mascara, I believe, is their 3rd city. So yeah, but I gotta admit, Algeria. I've never been that interested in them as a civ in any of the test runs, and at the moment, I'm not seeing anything that's getting me too excited. Generally speaking, Libya tends
they do have a lot of area they could settle. A lot of very, very nice land. You have to give there some credit. They
do often settle it, but I don't often see them do much. You know, they often beat Libya, but other than that, I don't often see them excel or be that interesting. So I'm reserving judgment on Algeria for now. But
I think also you have to look at the fact that Algeria they have a tendency to give away cities in peace deals. Like they did it in AI colonization. They gave away the 2nd city to the one of the Spanish civ that had nowhere near them. They've done it in a couple of my games as well.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a bad AI sometimes.
Yeah.
They do sometimes have a good AI and like play defensively and manage to keep cities, but they will defend really easily for like 50 turns in a war and just give away half the cities.
We shall see. Coolest Colonel says, imagine not using historic eras unless you did. We did. This is historic eras, this game. So Don't worry.
Yeah,
last
yeah,
not
they wanted
exactly-
historic eras, but I'm thinking historic eras better.
It's not exactly historic. It's not the historic eras mod. We made our own mod that sort of mimics it, but is simpler.
Yeah, it's a more
basically the same.
simpler, down to earth. Yeah,
And stops all the crashing with Future World.
Yes.
Turn 200.
Is Future World part of information, or is it its own era now?
Its own era is
Future
version
World
6.
is its own era now. Yeah,
I thought it was like two. Well, yeah, cool. I just want to go on. I want to move on.
CBRX uses version
Nubia.
6.
We're getting very off topic, and I know it's okay, but it is half two of it.
Can we talk about
Nubia's massive military?
Nubia, Better Israel. Better Israel, they're doing exactly what I expected from them on part 1, which is to build 2 cities and not do much else. But they don't really need to. They're a mountain stronghold. I do
They
want
built
to
3,
expand
actually.
Part.
They did build 3 cities.
They built 3 cities?
They have 3 cities now. They built 2.
Oh, I thought they. Okay, fine.
Nubia have their UU up.
They do the Archer boy, which is.
I rolled them in the sweepstakes, so let's hope
they do. Yes, you did. They do tend to spam that Archer fellow, sometimes to oblivion, sometimes to the expense of melee units. So,
They have gone straight towards Better Israel. Actually, no, I see it.
Yes, with Mero, the city of Mero. Yes.
Which is the capital, isn't it, in Civ 6?
Yes, it's a different Nubia, I think. So they use Amanitore.
Yeah.
I don't know who Amanitore is, but I looked up PA, and PA. I actually think the capital of this mod is also Mero, but PA's capital was Napatar, and just balance-wise, Napatar made more sense for the Nubian capital. So that's
So I think the main thing with Nubia is. We know what they bring to the table. They bring lots of range units. They don't necessarily tend to build too many melee units. Although they've built 2 new ones, which is quite cool. But they've settled in the wrong direction. Now Minoa are probably going to get a solid beachhead in Africa.
Yeah. What do we think they're going to? Do we think they're going to respond to Minoa?
No.
I'd like them to. I don't think.
You don't think they're going to respond to Minoa? Okay.
I think Manoa is a application in Windows that is just not responding, and I don't think it's gonna ever respond.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Well, we should move on to Europe because that brings us nicely onto Europe, and let's start with Manoa and their neighbors, the Ottomans.
Minoa could be good, could be bad. Ottomans probably going to be bad at this.
Well,
I'm gonna assume Manoa will be bad unless they settle Greece. If they do that, they have a chance. Ottomans are not in a good situation.
Well, let me get the official rankings up for Europe. There's a lot to get through here. There's
did we talk about
14 Sibs.
No, we didn't,
briefly
but that's okay.
They very briefly did.
I mean, the write-up I had reviews just they don't do much, and my image was just like a picture of them with like the Patreon.
I have nothing to say. Let's do.
Yeah,
I'll give you the
their
rankings.
Tonga tier. Man, I can't wait for something to happen.
Number 1, the Sami, not a surprise. They keep their number 1 spot from part 0. Number 2, the Czech Republic. Number 3, the Moors. Number 4, the Goths. Number 5, Vikings. Number 6, the Holy Roman Empire. Number 7, a bit of an increase for Prussia. Number 8, Golden Horde. Number 9, the Ottomans. Number 10, Venice. Number 11, Muscovy. Number 12, Scotland. 13, Minoa. And 14, Manx. So, we'll start with Minoa and the Ottomans because we're there. Minoa, they often settle the Nile Delta first. That's not a huge shock to me. Whether they can keep it or not essentially depends on whether Nubia wants to take it or not, and whether Nubia build enough melee units to take it. So we'll keep an eye on that. I don't expect
they have got a trade route, and they're getting quite big. I think like Knossos is one of the biggest cities in the cylinder at this point. So
yeah, true. I mean, a lot of the island cities tend to be quite big because there's not much to work other than food. I think it's worth keeping an eye on them. Keep an eye on them for settlers. They tend to build a settler quite early, but in my test runs, they just never seem to move it. They like to just sit there on its Todd, waiting for something to happen. Now, I will say, the Ottomans haven't settled Greece yet, which is good for them, but at the same time, I can see the Ottomans settling Greece next part or the part after.
Looks like
so we'll see.
Going,
we'll see.
Towards the northeast, towards where Prussia and Muscovy are.
I think Yeah, I think their settler was trying to go where the Czechs plopped Ostrava.
So they're
Yes,
probably going to go for
yes.
Great Moravia. Yeah, probably going to Moravia.
Yes. Why have we bumped the Ottomans down a bit this part? Why are they slipping, guys?
Because they
shouldn't have
got
settled
forward
into
settled
Europe.
like crazy.
Yeah, they really did, didn't they?
Again,
so
to use
Parma
the phrase, Havel went straight down mid.
Yeah, Parma is creeping up through Anatolia, and obviously Havel went straight for the heart. Havel's had a fair increase. He is our second highest ranked civ in Europe now. And it's interesting because he built quite wide and quite bold quite early. And we have faith in him to keep it. Why is that?
Yeah, because his AI is fucking ridiculously good.
Yeah, he's just a strong boy.
And Australia has some, like,
He's just a
very
strong
good
boy.
Positioning over that river. It's going to be very hard for.
It's on the opposite side of the river from the Ottomans. It's on a hill. It has good production tiles. It looks vulnerable, but I think if the Ottomans don't declare war on the Czech Republic within like 10 turns, then that city is just not. They're not going to take it easily at all.
I think that's
and
fair.
Constantinople is also really vulnerable. Like,
vulnerable
yeah,
to
they have to
Europe.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You have
also,
to
like,
be
it's
confident, absolutely confident that the Ottomans are going to declare war on the Czech Republic to not bump them down after what happened.
Yeah. And at the moment, the Ottomans don't seem to have the army to do so. So I think it's a fair assumption. We'll move over to the Ukraine area. We've got the Goths. We've got Muscovy. We've got the Golden Horde we talked about a little earlier. The Goths, again, another civ doing exactly what we expected them to do, which is not settle too much, but just build army like crazy. How do people think that's affected their chances?
They're going to do what they usually do, which is kamikaze into the nearest civ, probably get a couple of cities, then get declared war on by the rest of the neighbors.
Goths' chances right now are tremendous. I mean, I don't think there's a single military that's smaller than theirs or larger than theirs. Plus, they have the Great General from Honor. This is one of the few civs that could actually take a city during the ancient era, and I hope.
I wouldn't say one of the few
capitalize on
civs.
that. Well, yeah, one of the few civs. I mean, we only saw one ancient era city take back in Mark II, and that was between Sweden and Norway.
Is that real? Is that the only?
No,
Yeah.
there was.
I swear Neapolis was earlier.
Yeah, I thought that Neapolis was the first city capture.
Yeah.
I thought they had hoplites. Though,
Okay,
which are unique.
you're right. They were hoplites. The first city taken by warriors was between
Right.
Sweden and Norway, so that's on me. But still, it's significant considering that they have. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 melee units in this screen for the Goths, plus 2 chariot archers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regular archers.
Yeah. It's a classic
That's
Gothic
it.
start, in other words.
They do have the
I will
Army,
say,
and second, right behind
yes,
them is
good, well done.
and then Venezuela.
Oh, interesting. Oh, Venezuela, huh? We'll get on to them. We'll be having a good time. I will say about Mark II, Cloudberg will back me up on this. I think Mark II was a bizarrely slow start.
You're absolutely right. It's really rare for it to take so long for there to be an elimination.
Yeah, the elimination was what? Part 16?
It was well. It's more than how many turns. It was after turn 200.
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
I would expect an
But,
elimination
yeah.
prior to turn 100.
Yeah, if you look at like
I would
every other royale usually has an elimination like before turn 100.
Yeah, maybe not quite the turn fucking 40
Yeah, turn 40
evisceration
you
of
peak.
the
Fucking you pick.
But yeah, I would expect a quicker one. How do we think about? We've talked a bit about Golden Hall already, so let's go to the Goth's northern neighbor instead. Ivan the Terrible of Muscovy.
He's pretty terrible.
Muscovy a poo poo.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
puts a whole new twist on his name, doesn't it?
Of the returning cast, I give Muscovy like lowest marks.
Returning from what? Sorry.
Return
III.
Mark 3
Oh,
revotes.
gotcha.
How can you return from something that didn't happen?
Quantum leap.
Oh, sorry.
how do you
keep
how do you
on
know it didn't
confusing
happen?
the different timeline.
How do you know it didn't happen? How do you know it's not happening right now?
Technically, Darth did run a test.
Close the stream.
Darth did run a test, and Muscovy were pretty bad.
There's been plenty of tests in Mark 3.
Yeah, but Darth ran probably for me the most convincing one.
Right.
It only took out Tahiti because Mark 3 was supposed to have 62 civilizations, which goes above the limit by 1 civ, and so he decided to keep the Faroe Islands and take out Tahiti. Point is, Muscovy has a settler. Third city, totally possible. They have 3 warriors, and they took honor. They pulled an Evinx on us.
Well, maybe if they took honor, maybe they're going to bulk up next part.
So
Nice joke.
Wax, you're fucking lying to me. If that actually happens for part 2, I'm going to be so mad.
They take Danzig and then just run through Königsberg.
Oh, well, let's go on to Prussia then, because Prussia overperformed, I think it's safe to say, from what we
They
expected.
don't have that big a military. Like, looking at this picture right now,
No, but
they're not that.
Who are they going to get invaded by? Muscovy? No.
Czechia?
No, because
Well, they don't have a big army yet either, though.
Well, we've already said in the past that Czechia are good at building armies quickly.
Yeah, by the time they do, I mean, yeah, they'll do it quick, but how do we know Prussia won't? I still
What's got me impressed is that right behind Königsberg, if you look very closely, they have a settler there. Prussia going for 4 cities is super rare. And yet here we are, Prussia's being very expansive. And we know, based off their history, even when they're not expanding, they still build up a pretty decent, if not strong, military. I think we all underestimated Prussia with good reason. But now here they are, like, showing off, hey, look how we made, like, 2 really good settles that forward settled, like, our 2 biggest adversaries. And now we're going to bulk up and build a military. And they already have more units. They have an archer here. They also have a lot of scouts mattered about throughout the continent.
Yeah, scouts are useful. Scouts aren't useful. By the way, before anyone else jumps in, it's Königsberg, guys. Not Königsberg.
Yeah,
it's Königsberg.
no.
It's got an umlaut. Königsberg. I can't do the exact pronunciation because I'm not German.
It's Kaliningrad.
It is
nice.
Kaliningrad.
It's I think you'll find it's Krasnowiec. Is that it? Krasnowiec? The Polish name, anyway. Whatever.
I'm disappointed we didn't have one of the Germanies that does all the Polish names like Stettin and things, so we could have a Poland that takes them and change them back to Szczecin.
Prussia does have all those towns. They have.
But we don't have a Poland.
ECH comments: Frederick is harnessing Pride Month energy because Frederick the Great was gay.
Yeah,
he was a flaming gay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably true. So after June, I think. So how many parts does that give him now? What part is it? He's
one
got
more part.
He's only got next part, and then he's going to be awful. That's confirmed. Speaking of Germany, let's talk about the other Germans, the Holy Roman Empire.
Led by Bismarck.
Bismarck is their leader in the ancient era. I will say, from my test runs, the ancient era tends to last only for about 2 or 3 parts worth of turns, I reckon. So I think we'll see a new leader very soon. But their first leader, their first immortal, is Bismarck. And pretty fittingly, they're doing some nice expansion quite early on. We've got 3 cities down in pretty nice places, fairly conservative.
And a 4th on the way, apparently.
And a 4th on the way. Now, I think one of them was further west into France, and I think it's very important they do lock down that French area before the Moors get to it.
Well, they haven't even settled France. They settled Belgium. So I personally was not confident.
You just don't settle Belgium. It's a bad idea.
I personally was not confident.
I put them in
Here there be
around
dragons
there. So Netherlands even.
I was personally not confident with the HRE this part, just because of how closely together their cities are. It's very clustered. Reminds me a lot of Nazi Germany from Mark II. They've got their 4th settler. You know, maybe that's going to make a big difference. Maybe they're gonna, try to stop
I could see them
Czechia
going
from
up to
heading the
Jutland.
Northern Sea, but yeah,
No,
they
I
could
really
go up to
think they
Jutland.
Yeah, I'm
They don't,
thinking Jutland.
unlike Nazi Germany, I will say there's no France to contend with, which is definitely an advantage.
It is an advantage, and they definitely are trying to build a military, but it looks like they're focusing on infrastructure first because from this shot, their workers and traders and their settler are larger than their military, which
They're
in the
also
long run could be
they're
good.
building a lot of roads as well, which is good because they get growth.
I don't think they're doing too badly. I think it's gonna take some time. They're one of those civs that I think we'll have to see which directions they expand in the future, and how the military goes, and more importantly, what happens directly to the east of them with Prussia and the Czech Republic, because that's
And directly to the south as well, because the Moors could be lying their own head and then cut off France.
True. I would say they kind of. Sorry.
I think what's more likely is that they will just sort of blob a bit in northwest Europe, HRE, and then unless they get lucky and get like a good opportunistic war, they're probably just going to go sort of the way that France and Nazi Germany did, and just sort of get squished between everyone else.
Yeah, it's very possible, especially with two strong Scandinavian nations looming above as well. But what I will say, one advantage I think they do have is I think they're the furthest east civ in Europe that aren't directly threatened by the Goths and the kind of chaos that the Goths bring to the early game. And that's why I'm kind of saying, well, we need to wait a little bit to see how they'll do, because we don't really know how Prussia and how Czechia are going to be affected by what we expect to be the short-lived yet very violent explosion that is the Gothic Empire. So, fingers crossed for HRE fans, I guess. Let's talk about the Moors.
I think you should. While talking about the Goths, it is worth noting that there is a universe, though, where you just mentioned that, it just came into my head, where the Goths, because all their neighbors aren't that strong yet, do manage to conquer the entirety of their neighbors.
There is a universe where that happens, obviously, but I don't know. I don't think it's likely. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about the Moors now. Now, the most interesting thing about the Moors, this part for me, is nothing that you did in game. It's the fact that that the people, the people, ranked them third.
Yeah. Can I just say, I want to make a motion to not include the the community poll in the power rankings, because
they rank New
this is how we
Zealand
get
fifth.
They are New Zealand fifth.
I'm very in favor of it. I think it's a cool way of having, having the public involved and having.
I will not have that taken away from me.
We do have to make absolutely sure that when people are voting in this, they're not voting for their favorite civ. They're voting for the one they actually think is doing the best.
It shouldn't really matter because it should balance out. You know what I mean? Like Aztecs, I'd say are a good example of a civ that have lots of supporters, and yet they had such a dismal part zero. They were still in the bottom half in the power rankings.
I will say, I don't 100% disagree with the community, just based off the settles by the Moors. Granted, they have no coastal cities, despite having multiple opportunities to. But this triangle that they've created between Cortuba, Garnata, and Balancia.
Very nicely pronounced.
Very nicely pronounced.
Can you tell that I speak Arabic? But Balancia is very far north. Now, you might say they've overextended the same way Canada have, but they don't have that close-by neighbor to threaten them like Canada does with the Iroquois. They've just...
Venice.
Before we get to North America, this, to me, is them outlining their opening. They're doing what Portugal couldn't do, which is expand outside of Iberia. During the early game, yes, they did take a city in Italy.
Well, I mean, France also existed, so.
But
true.
But
the thing is,
what I'm trying to say is that the Moors are going really far in, and they're giving themselves a lot of room to build up a ton of cities, and if not a ton of cities, just have a lot of land that nobody else can have.
ECH
if someone
is in
counters the Moors now, then the Moors are going to be like one of the best civs in Europe, just because they have anchored themselves against the Pyrenees. Because even though that Valencia is outside of the Pyrenees and it's going to be hard for them to like resupply and like get out of if they don't support it, it's still such a defendable city because like if you look at the terrain around it, it's almost like it is almost impossible to take, especially when your neighbors are Venice and HRE.
Yeah, I would
really
not
don't
expect an AI to ever be able to take Valencia with archers and warriors. It's just there's too many forested hills.
I really don't think the Moors are going to keep it past the medieval era. Myself, I think that's somebody else's at some point.
You say that, but who is going to take that? The HRE.
The HRE, not Venice. The HRE. That's my
HRE would be way too focused on Prussia or the Czechs. Like at that era, those are going to be way bigger threats to the HRE than the Moors are going to be, because they can actually they can easily access Aachen, when the Moors, they're on the other side of the Pyrenees. They're on the other side of Iberia.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Also what we're going to see, I think, based on tests, is inevitably the Moors taking Britain.
The Moors taking what? Sorry.
Britain, the British Isles.
I wouldn't say it's inevitable, but it
happens more often than not.
They often settle Ireland, and I think they may probably do that again. I do think that if they want to be contenders, the Moors, they should get more cities in France as soon as. I think that's going to be their best avenue to build up a nice, strong core in France.
Ile-de-France is really good. I mean, the terrain around Ile-de-France is really good.
So let's talk, because before we get to the northern European civs, we have one left which we've somehow forgotten. How did we forget Venice? How could you forget Venice?
Just more and more justified to me the fact that the two Sicilies should be in the season.
I wanted two Sicilies so badly, but to talk about Venice,
they made a third.
Very impressive. They made a third
settler.
They have a great general, which means they picked honor, which means their soldiers are going to be better. They're building, which is a lot better than they usually do. They're both coastal cities. They locked down the Italian peninsula by settling both sides of the Alps. It's just a really good start for them. But hopefully one day Libya just takes the entire Italian peninsula as a big middle finger to Mussolini. So,
I was going to say Venice. Is this the Doctor Strange time gem one where Venice actually realized they are meant to be a crusader civ and just go and dominate everyone? No.
If Venice attacks the Ottomans, I will become a 100% Venice supporter.
Agreed.
I think that's fair. Let's move on to Scandinavia first. We'll do the British Isles last. We have
Sami
the
overrated.
We have the Sami. Well, are they? That's the question.
Do we want? By the way, ECH. I mean, we did kind of talk about the Czechs, but do we really have anything that we want to add other than the Czechs have really fucking astounding AI? They have 3 cities with a 4th on the way. Anything?
I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, that's it. Really, that's why they're ranked high.
Good AI. Roll a die. If it's lower than 2 on a 6-sided die, congratulations, they're gonna win.
Boy, oh boy, we actually have a good fucking screenshot for the Sami and the Vikings, rather than this weird in between shit.
Diwali or whatever. Someone objected to it. Denali, something like that. So apparently, someone had a problem with what was on the PR slide.
I thought you said Diwali. I was like really confused.
It was like a couple hours ago that I read it, but someone complaining about what the image was for one of the Scandinavian cities.
Apologies, I'm very confused right now. Can somebody fill me in?
On the power ranking slide, the image that was used as a picture of Scandinavia was actually Denali in Alaska.
Oh yeah, Mount McKinley.
Oh right.
Boo! It's Denali.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Sears Tower, Willis Tower. Sometimes, if you want to,
Denali is a much better name than McKinley.
Oh, I
Agreed.
agree. I agree. Mount McKinley sucks as a name. I prefer the name Denali, but like, it's still more famous as Mount McKinley.
I feel like I want the meme I want to use is like
So the Sami have a force center. I just don't want to go on and on about Mount McKinley for an hour. Mount Denali.
I
My
But
apologies.
yes, but
Okay, so
Oh,
I
come
I
on.
agree that Sami are overrated. I rank them high because I wasn't sure where else to put them, but they're not going to win. They're just not a civ that wins games.
I
Well, presumably
absolutely
low, right?
disagree. I absolutely disagree. They have so much tundra available to them. Like the Kazakhs, like Nepal, they have that special ability where they get extra tiles. In this case, it's tundra. They actually benefit more from tundra than most civs. They are very expansive. All they have to do is build a military of some kind, and they can take down the Vikings. They can take down Muscovy. It's all based on timing. But right now, above any other civ, the Sami are probably very high up because they're not only are they strong, not only are they expansive, but they're very unlikely to get attacked too.
Reindeer.
Yeah, 15 seconds delay.
I mean, if you look at their neighbors, okay, the Vikings, I am sorry, I just don't buy into the Viking hype. I just think that they're like just the way they are and with this how the Sami are, like the Vikings are just going to be like piecemeal for the Sami.
You can tell the Vikings are bad because of the way they are.
And also the Muscovy is, let's be honest, it's not really a threat at all to the Sami, and that's
Muscovy are food.
Yeah, so it's just more food for the fans.
No, see, I disagree. I think
the Goths will eat them first.
yeah,
The Sami do not declare wars. They just don't.
they don't. They never do. What they do is
Also, they
sometimes-
someone said they claim tundra. Their extra tiles, they actually just claim all tiles that have a resource on it within the workable range of the city. It has nothing to do with whether there's tundra or not.
It's wacky.
My bad.
I think what the Sami have is they have the advantage that they get tech somehow. They have some sort of science boost, or they just have really good science bias.
They just have a high science bias. They don't get any bonus to it.
Yeah, but they end up they always end up like two.
Yeah, they have extra food from tundra that's next to a city, and they have they have a temple that causes like random rock Siedi formations to appear on in
Hey,
their
pronounced
territory.
it right, everybody.
Yeah,
Siedi.
And also, what they have is the Beatavati, which is the scout replacement. Can temporarily cause the animal resources disappear in exchange for that big food bonus or something. But basically, they get,
I don't know if the AI does that.
I've seen it.
They're a really fun civ to play as. Can I just say?
Yeah,
I really like
they're a really cool civ. Basically, what they do is their food stuff keeps them competitive in TSL, and they just get science. They end up 2 or 3 techs ahead. They get declared war on. They have to good enough unit just to roll back over who declares war on. That's generally what happens in Sami. That's how Sami win games. But at the same time,
is it safe to say
the Vikings aren't bad. People have said like the Vikings are like not great. The Vikings can be a really, really strong civ.
Well, is it safe to say they had a bad start though? This part one.
I would say they're doing about what I would expect from their starting area and location. I would withhold judgment. I think
the Viking
Groundhog
TSL
Day Vikings were incredibly scary. They were also quite scary in one of the recent Europe games. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
they've just been
Banter's
scary.
Game, yeah. And also in the current AI Earth colonization game, they have just destroyed Finland and Russia. The issue is that the Vikings have probably one of the outright worst starting locations of any civ in the game at this point.
Nanets.
Look at Nidaros. No, Vikings, remember, don't get any bonuses from this sort of territory. But look at Nidaros. That is like horrendous.
So they have it's tundra on a river. They have deer. Whoa, hey. They have fish, crab, and atoll, furs, and truffles. And there's some stuff in the third ring, but they'll probably settle other cities to take that.
Lance
it
says
could be the Evanx start is worse. I can say that.
Oh yeah,
but
for
the
sure.
start is
But don't the Evans get like forest bonus and stuff for food?
if they have a improvement that adds food to forest.
Yeah, the
Rance
Vikings don't have any of that.
Can I complain that Arnar is one tile from the coast? As far as I'm concerned, that's a city that you can't take with a ship. And for the Sami, who do not have much of a naval bias, that's a good.
Compare that to the other one in the north, which might go to the Vikings. Vikings do love. Well, the Viking you use are horrendously overpowered. The Berserker's like 50% stronger than a contemporary unit, and the longship can enter ocean, I believe. They're just a really strong set of units. The Vikings will spam them. The Berserker, I've seen them have a Berserker carpet that just kills civs off.
Well, let's move on then to maybe two of the civs that might be food for them. The Manx and the Scots. We have the Scots higher than the Manx currently. They're not by much. Both fairly low down still. Not surprising that we've ranked British civs low down anyway. I think British civs are always going to be in the bottom.
Yeah,
third probably of the rankings.
Just reading a bit of chat, EW, who made Tonga should appeared and just said, you have to have a pretty high IQ to understand Tonga. And complaining that we weren't trash talking it enough. But yeah, Britain.
This is the mod author, by the way.
This is the mod author who hates.
There's not enough to say about them just yet. We'll get on. We'll get on to Tonga when they start doing things, you know. But when it comes to the Manx and Minoa, the Manx and Scotland, the Manx did pretty much what we expect, which is to found a second city in Britain. I would have preferred it if they'd founded it in Ireland myself.
Yeah, it's I think what Luna said last part, or maybe even before part 0, that if man founded a city in Britain, they'll do better in the short term, but eventually get killed by Scotland. Whereas if they found it in Ireland, Scotland don't tend to invade them. So what they're probably going to happen is, and overall, Scotland will probably end up taking Castletown and Douglas, and then get killed by whoever it turns out.
If Scotland settle in Britain, what usually happens is that Moors take Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
In a Scotland Manx war, Scotland have 2 cities to make land units, where the Manx are going to only have that one in Douglas. Because let's not make any bones about it. I don't expect the Isle of Man to ever settle in the city. What about you guys?
No.
I'd be very surprised if they settled in another city.
I made 60 damn cities for their city list, and I don't think we'll see.
This is why I wanted Ori if we were going to have the Isle of Man.
Also,
yeah, but the memes.
Why did
my one tile?
Also, Lax, if you have noticed on the power ranking slide, yeah, I included your correction of Man or Manx or the Isle of Man with 2 N's and stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, just to clarify, it's the Isle of Man with 1 N or Man with 2 N's, and I don't know why, but it just did.
But in order to not listen to it, I still kept the title as Isle of Man with 2 N's.
Well, fuck you.
Yeah,
it's like Botswana, where the country's Botswana, the language is Setswana, and the people are something else, right?
The people are just
I don't know.
No, regarding the Britain on Man thing, is if Man had settled their city where Glasgow is and screwed Scotland over, Man could probably even kill Scotland, because forcing Scotland to settle Glasgow in the Highlands completely fucks over Scotland. But at this point, they settle Glasgow where they can build a catapult and within 2 turns and literally just move it 1 tile and have it bombarding Castletown. It's just, there's no way Man keep Castletown with Scotland having a city on.
Scotland do need ships to take Castletown though, which they haven't got yet.
We'll
see.
They have.
Yeah.
They are.
They don't even need ships. They don't even need ships.
They started with some ships, didn't they?
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah.
Because they count as an island.
They're the one that went north.
Rance says, can we rename all the cities to be...
It's funny you say that about renaming them, because Glasgow is not even in Scotland because of the...
No, it's in England. It's in the
projection we're using. That is... Yeah, I was going to say that's near that's in Cumbria.
Yeah. Can we rename the cities, Rants? No, absolutely not. We're
No.
at turn 700 in the
900.
run. 900 in the run.
900 plus, boys.
And Scotland are definitely dead by now.
Oh.
No, spoilers. Scotland actually successfully settled Greenland, and I've now got this terrible Greenland empire.
Guys, I promised myself I wouldn't give you spoilers for part 2, but I'm going to be honest with you. The game is over in part 2. Scotland take every capital. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, honestly. Shut the stream.
Let's move on to North America because I'm bored. North America, I would get the.
It's been.
Let's talk about the boys. The light blue and white Civ. The UP.
UP.
They peaked at the start of the game, and it's all downhill from here.
They had the start that none of us expected. They used their UU to settle a city, and they're now going to have 3 cities for the rest of the game until they get killed by the Haida in turn 74.
Unless they use those other 2 UUs to settle.
Yeah, they have the other 2.
5 cities.
And you know why? Because I fought last second to make sure they could. I'm a fucking hero.
Yeah, but they're both going to get killed by that one matey scout in the picture.
Do people want to hear the North American rankings?
Absolutely. I just wanted to start with the UP because it was easier.
Well, yeah, I mean, UP aren't last. First place is obviously the Métis. Second place, Apache. Third place, Iroquois. Fourth place, Poverty Point. Fifth place, Aztecs. Sixth place, Haida. Seventh place, Yupik. And eighth place, Lunas, Canada. So yeah, Yupik. We still don't have high belief in them, even though they used their settling warrior.
Well, we already knew they would do that.
At the same time, Kamchatka's still not been settled. They're still allowed to do that.
They also went honor.
Maybe
they did go honor.
Yes.
Which gives them settlers, which is incredibly smart.
No, that's liberty. Liberty gets
because they are warrior. Their warriors.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't. Honor doesn't give them units. It maybe makes them a little more likely to build it, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. I'm confused with NQ. One of the first tiers gives you 2 warriors in NQ.
Mm-hmm. Moving down the coast, we have the Haida, who I think had a start that we sort of expected. 2 pretty well settled cities. We won't see a monster navy from them yet. Eyes will definitely be on them next part for if we see a huge navy come up. They do tend to build that big early game navy.
Yeah, and
I'm looking forward to seeing war canoes up and down the west coast of North America at literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's usually what happens to UP because UP.
I am saying nothing.
UP do settle. Usually settle their first 3 new cities on the coast, and then they just get killed by. So the fact they have an inland city probably means they'll live a bit longer.
That's a good point.
Although I feel like if we had the Chinook or any of the naval civ on that coast, Haida would be dead. Because an instance has 4 adjacent coast tiles.
Is somebody saying that having Haida and Chinook in the same game would have been a great idea?
No.
It's not right next to each other.
I was going to say I couldn't think of any of the naval civ in that region.
It's just I had been advertising Chinook versus Haida for the longest time, and everybody was like, "That's going to be boring," and I'm like, "No, it would be perfect."
I think it would have been quite unbalanced. Anyway, what I will say is, Rance Stoddard says you pick better than Haida, and it's not very often I just come on here and say your opinion is objectively wrong, but dear God,
I don't know how you can come to that conclusion.
Haida took out UPIC in 40 turns in one test.
I adore the UPIC. They're one of my favorite civs, but the Haida win this one.
Well, let's move on from the Haida UPIC.
Let's go east to a civ that is somehow not top 4, the Métis.
Yeah, let's talk about the Métis. They are top in North America. So they do have that going for them. And it was a pretty solid start from them. We do expect them to settle quite a lot early on. They do have a lot of space. Our perennial fear with the Métis has been they don't tend to declare a lot of wars. So that in that sense, they're very, very similar to Zimbabwe in terms of having lots of space, will settle. Yeah, and Sami.
And Kazakhs.
Well, Kazakhs are a little less pacifist, I would say. They are more like a normal level of warmongery, whereas the Métis tend to be quite peaceful.
As opposed to both of the South American civs, which hate everyone.
Yeah, well, we'll get on to them. So a pretty impressive start from the Métis. Definitely wants to watch.
I will say the Métis city name, the Métis city list is cool.
It's nice. It's a nice city list. That one was mostly Vivala's own mod, and then I can't remember who it was now, I'm afraid, but somebody commented being like, actually, I have loads of suggestions to improve this, and we talked with Vivala and him or her, and we got a really gorgeous city list out of it. So I'm actually really happy with that one. It's one of my favourite ones, objectively. I think.
Yes, you can just song along the lines.
Also, they have a sound called Frenchman's Butts.
Who
doesn't love that?
It's not quite as good as the legend. I don't think it quite beats the legendary Buccaneer city of Dump.
Dump.
I don't want to talk about Dump. It sends too many bad memories back. I think I've cracked it. I do think I've cracked that, or I think rather we cracked it. The Discord chat cracked.
Wait, really? What was the solution?
Well, I need to fill in for everyone who's on the chat who has no idea what we're talking
about.
So I map a lot of city lists in mods. I do lots of maps of them. And Last Sword's Buccaneers in particular was this one I was mapping in this instance. Last Sword civs in general tend to be quite easy to find his sources, because what you do is you type in the nation, and then you type in map, and then you go to Google Images and you find the first map, and usually he picks 20 cities from that map. And sure enough, I found the map that he definitely used for the Buccaneers, because there was like spelling errors in the map that were replicated in his list, so it was obvious that he'd used this map. And yeah, every single city from the map was in his city list until we got to the 20th and final city in the city list, which was Dumf. D-U-M-F. I could find absolutely no explanation as to what it was. I tried for hours to figure out what the hell this Buccaneer city of Dumf was, and it just utterly eluded me. So I think the resolution to this is actually kind of boring. Somebody suggested it might be to do with the Scottish city of Dumfries. They said that it's abbreviated as Dumf on some naval map, so maybe it's something to do with that.
It's usually Dunfermline that gets shortened to Dumf. Like the nickname for Dunfermline is Dumphy.
Oh, interesting. Well, in any case, a Scottish city being abbreviated to that, and I thought that was kind of unlikely. But then I remembered that Last Sword does have a Scotland mod. And I went to the Last Sword Scotland mod, and the 20th city in that mod is Dumfries. So I can only imagine he copied and pasted the Scotland one and was like backspacing in Dumfries to put a city in, did something else,
he didn't finish,
came back to it and just thought, oh, Dumf, that must have been my 20th city for that, and didn't realise that he hadn't actually finished writing in what he was meant to write in. That is the only explanation I can think of.
That's hilarious.
That's all I've got. That's the closest I've got.
And remember, he did like the 3,000 line Lua for HRE.
Yeah, I mean, Last Sword is an absolute beast of a coder. I won't begrudge him this one thing.
At least it's not Getimo.
Oh, come on, don't be harsh. I like Getimo.
The thing is, Getimo civs are actually like code-wise really good. It's just that he puts no effort at all into the art.
I love Getimo. He's great, but his art's just weird.
All his leader screens are taken from this one like really obscure French TV show.
Huh. Well, regardless of that, Métis have 3 cities, and they're on their way to 5 with 2 settlers out. But they have a very empty military core, which right now doesn't matter considering they don't really have any actual neighbors. but that could change soon. They did end up meeting the U-Peak. I assume they're going to settle a city next to that uranium near those mountains to make a defensible spot, and maybe they might forward settle the Canadians.
Speak of the Devils, let's talk about Canada and indeed the Iroquois next.
So this comes down to one question, which is, will the U-Peak punish the overextension from Canada?
You mean the Iroquois, right?
Yeah, the U-Peak are definitely going to do something about that.
That's what I meant. Iroquois. Yeah, the Iroquois.
Well, I'd save that quote for later.
The Iroquois. Yeah,
that's going to be on the PR slide.
Sorry.
So
someone type that out. So
Canada's forward settle Montreal. Can't remember why Montreal's in the city list above Toronto. I'm sure there was a reason for it. Anyway,
population list at 1940.
Yes, that's right. It is. Toronto took it a bit later. Anyway, Montreal. They founded it in southern Michigan, around the area of Grand Rapids-ish. I think. I can't remember. I don't live in Michigan.
They're trying to get the Michigals popular vote.
Yeah. But the question is, will the Iroquois punish that? Will they invade? The first thing to say about Canada is I do think they will link those two settles up. We actually can see a settler basically in position, so it's fairly
It's actually IRL where I live, so
track me. What, in like Barrie?
Yeah, that's exactly where it is on the map.
Well, there you go.
The coastline right there. Bada boom, bada bing. Come on, come knocking.
Wait, so sorry, Luna, you live in the town of Barrie.
Yep. it's a plummeting town just north of Toronto on like one of the only highways that go north.
Bless you.
Am I right in thinking there's like skiing there?
Barrie. By the way, I think it's like city number 62 on my list.
Yeah, it's fairly low down.
ECH says at least it's not Gary, and he is right.
Come on, Gary would be bad.
Guys, the next Métis city is Fort Garry. The next Métis city.
Gary. Gary.
Lax, is Banff on the Scotland city list?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yes. I now want Scotland to live that long.
Don't you? I put all the county towns on there.
But I've summarized Canada's position in this part as they just showed their entire hand and said, counter me. It's a matter of if Iroquois, Poverty Point, or U-Peak out of nowhere, if anyone
U-Peak with a steel chair.
The steel capital snipe.
By God, it's the U-Peak with a steel chair.
U-Peak slamming Canada off the top of Hell in a Cell.
What we've always said about
they just set down their entire hand, and I think it was incredibly dumb. Montreal isn't even that great of a city. It's very weak to the bottom portion of Poverty Point. Toronto, if it's settled there, is a terrible, terrible decision strategically because it does not allow for a proper funnel. And it means that units can still surround it by attacking in through 2 points. If it settles down where I believe those are deer or furs, let's say furs. If they settle right down where the furs are, right in between, right near Lake Ontario, there where actual Toronto is, then they'll be a little bit more defensible. But I think at that point they're just way too close. No matter what Canada does in this situation, it really just depends on what Iroquois does. Koi, man.
You mentioned Poverty Point. I think that's a little bit bold. Just Poverty Point. I'm going to go that far north this quickly. But yeah, the Iroquois. What we've long said about them is whether they'll be able to get through the Great Lakes to Canada that quickly. I mean, one of the reasons we didn't actually remove them from the game was because in tests we found that very often they couldn't do that, and so it was still fairly balanced because the Great Lakes was serving as this kind of natural barrier. The suggestion, Iroquois do have a big army, not many cities yet or any settlers, which is surprising for the Iroquois because they're usually big city spammers, but they have built a big army already, so it's quite likely that they're going to try something on with Canada sooner rather than later.
Poverty
what do people
Point
say?
tend to do really long distance wars that absolutely go nowhere or randomly do really good. They took an Aztec city in one test. They took a Canadian city. They took a Haida city. I swear, like they're just gonna declare war and then just take the Uruguay's capital. I don't know. Poverty Point are the wild cards of wild cards in North America.
I've not seen that in my test games. I'm not so sure, but we'll see.
Yeah,
but what do people think about the
Apache-
Iroquois and Canada?
I think Iroquois just gonna win out of that too. Iroquois are playing less expansive than usual, which is strange, but they have a big army, which is also a bit strange. But yeah, they're gonna win. Iroquois win this 10 times out of 10.
Lunar, I'm gonna need you to make a Canada Civ ball with the right logo, right icon this time, because everyone that I've been looking for has had the old icon, the one that was like with the Canada 150th anniversary logo.
Yeah. Unoriginality is my special name. In fact, it's so much my special name. It's not even my special name. Just looped around. I was not original when I made
U
that.
and
I like
the N in the U and N in Luna are short for unoriginal.
Yeah, Luna original. Literally, my name is literally just I play Doctor in TF2 Lamal.
I feel like there's more to it than that.
Cosmetic.
I feel like you gave me a big, like long, heartfelt explanation of why your username was your username.
Actually, yes, but
it's
actually
too much to go into right now.
We'll talk about that later. So,
I was actually gonna say
that's
fine.
Yeah, it's a Patreon exclusive. The origin behind Luna's name.
Can we
Anyway,
actually why? Genuine question though, why do we have a current username nickname things? I'm not counting Emsade because his name is literally just his name. But
my name was just the name I picked that I thought nobody would ever pick. So all my usernames in the past, because I was like this, I picked my name when I was like 12. All my usernames before that were like super unoriginal, and like I'd go on like a big website and register it, and it'd be like, "There's somebody else's username," and I was like, "Fine, I'll pick something that nobody in the world will pick." And because I was already a flaming queer, I just picked the worst fucking high fantasy elf shit that I could find, and then for some reason used it for my Reddit account, and now I'm stuck with it, and now it's on fucking Kotaku. So
it's not bad. It's fancy. Like,
no, I think it's actually not a bad name at all.
When I first heard Burger Creek say Loxoroxoriscal, I was like, that's a badass name. I wish I were that creative.
I feel like it.
You're Mango.
Sounds like a. I feel like it sounds like my first elf character in a D&D game. You know what I mean?
I am not a fucking fruit. Okay, it's my. God.
Reminds
it's a
me
palindrome,
that
it's a palindrome. I'm okay with people calling me Mango, Mangle, J-Man. I'm used to J-Man mostly.
Yeah, J-Man's a bit weird given the M is your middle name, isn't it?
Yeah, the M is my middle name.
Mangalo.
I just told you J-Man because it's just easier to type on for the PS.
Right.
Like,
it's very easy. J stands for James. M stands for Michael. Angelo is short for Angelopoulos, which nobody can spell. And then 67 is my lucky number. I basically picked up the idea from my older brother because his username back in the day used to be Jangelo27 John.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the middle name part. And I was like, well, my name also starts with a J, so I got to make it unique. So I added the M in there.
Gotcha.
So,
wait,
Rance says, I think Laxaraxariscal means something in Basque.
I hope it does. Out. I wish it did.
Hang on, I'm Googling Lax around.
Am I right in thinking your name was picked because it sounds cool and nothing else?
Oh, and I need to also mention that at one point I made a comment on like some Reddit somewhere, and somebody accused me based off of my username that I was like a Nazi sympathizer, and I was like, what? And they were all like, it looks like J. Mengele, which is like Joseph
Mengele.
Joseph Mengele is like some infamous Nazi eugenics
Yeah.
doctor experimenter. I don't know shit about Nazis. I'm gonna
He's
be
fucking.
totally
He's
honest.
a horrible dude.
Oh, I believe it, but everybody was all like, "Yeah, you're a Nazi," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
It's very unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate that
as I
like
say,
over 10 years later, it's like, oh my god, I look like a Nazi now.
I can
for some
absolutely
reason.
verify that you are called that. I've stalked you on Facebook enough to know that that is your name. White Scissor.
Wait,
James
what?
the
I've
Greek-
been called
James the Greek Nazi.
I've been called a Nazi by people on Facebook. What are you talking about?
Oh my god, J-Man, J-Man, the closet Nazi Power Ranger.
I've stalked you on Facebook enough to know that that is your real name.
Yeah, I mean, I had when.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was getting called a Nazi on Facebook, and I'm like, what the fuck? What are you guys saying about me
I
on
called you Nazi
stream?
on Facebook, but I call everyone that. No, anyway. Scissor Fingers, you're the only person whose name I don't understand, so you go.
Okay,
Wait,
so
mine? What?
Wait, you understand mine?
Cloudberg, if your name wasn't just picked because it sounds epic, I don't know why.
No, it actually has a very long backstory that I'm not going to explain on AM.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Patreon incentive.
If we get to 200,
so this is what happened in.
Give me Scissor Fingers. Give me Scissor Fingers though.
Okay, so in 9th grade, I took up juggling, and I was like trying to figure out like what all the things I could juggle, and then the only things that were like seemed kind of dangerous, but like not really, were scissors. So I took all the scissors in the class and started juggling them around. And there's this one day where I got really bored in class, and I stuck a pair of scissors into an outlet, and the power went out.
Sorry, what?
It shorted out.
I got so bored.
Guys, let him finish. I'm
So-
sure the ending of this story is more dignified than the middle.
So like my teacher got like really mad at me, but like he couldn't prove that it was me, even though I was like holding a pair of like charred scissors because I threw it out I covered it up. So he was like, this teacher would like give everyone nicknames, and so he started calling me Edward after Edward Scissorhands, and I told him like, okay, like that's such a really weird name, calling me Edward. Like everyone else had like really weird nicknames, but I was just Edward, so I was like, okay, what the fuck? And he eventually started calling me Indian National Socialist for some reason. Because like we were talking about like this is my history class and this is my human geography class. We're talking about people migrations, and we're talking about like ancient people migrations. And I was talking to him about Indian history where the Aryans were coming in, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're a Nazi." I'm like, "No, I'm not," and that was kind of weird. But going on to back to Scissor Fingers, I was like, okay, I need to find out like a username for my Reddit thing, and Scissor Hands was taken up. I was like, okay, what's something on your hands that are like not your hands? I'm like, those are fingers.
I see. So your name comes from the time that you A, fucking juggled scissors, and B, just stuffed some scissors into an outlet.
Yeah.
And knocked out power. Amazing.
So
I was like,
I'm just happy you're here.
Yeah,
that was just
your
so
life
wild
fascinates
card.
me.
It was such a funny intro. It's like, hey, explain your username. It's like, well, so in middle school, I took up juggling scissors.
So, Lax, you said this is the name you didn't get. What do you think about my name then?
Oh yeah, I've got no idea. I didn't even think
We're
about that.
totally paused on Civ. We're all just talking about our names. I'm okay.
No, it's
with
like
it. Keep going.
I was just saying so my name basically comes from have you ever heard of Valdemar, the book series?
No, but that's
Maybe.
really weird because
By
Valdemar's
Mercedes
my
Lackey.
first musical project.
So Valdemar's a collection of books by Mercedes Lackey. They're kind of like a big fantasy, like huge series, been going on for about 40 years now. And in one of them, there's a minor character called Lord Staven, and I picked that up as a nickname for I think it was my Minecraft account. And then eventually I just shortened it to Lordy.
Oh, cute.
Actually, no, I changed it to Lordy because I forgot the name for the Lord Staven Reddit account.
Right. Oh,
And then
right.
made Lordy, and then I just switched everything to Lordy and eventually lost the Staven after a couple of years.
It's weird because my first, not really a band, but my first musical recording project was called Valdemar, and you can still find that on Bandcamp. But I would advise.
I mean, it's
you
not
not
entirely
to.
an uncommon name. Like, there's like 2 Danish kings named Valdemar.
Yeah, well, I didn't find that out afterwards. We actually named him Valdemar after a assassin that we had. This is, I say it's fucking nerdy, but we're on Civ Battle Royale. It was an assassin in Medieval Total War 2 who was just fucking murdering everyone. His fucking experience was through the roof. Like, he was unstoppable. He was just murdering kings left, right, and center. And his name was Valdemar, and we just thought he was a cool egg with a cool name. So we called our musical project Valdemar.
Yeah, and the name
that's
itself
not
was
the
taken
geekiest,
from like
the geekiest
medieval
origin
name.
for a music name. I don't know what it is, but anyway, that project.
I actually know. I can tell you what the geekiest one is. Is that my friend and I, when we made a CD of songs that we liked, we published playlists under the name Ang Malin because that's the name of an alloy we made in Minecraft.
Yeah, that is nerdy. That is also nerdy.
My full
who
story is something else.
Who would have thought a bunch of AIs playing each other at Civilization would be such fucking nuts?
We're 3.5 hours in.
All right. No, we need to move on.
The Apache. Apache.
Yeah, so the Apache moved down a little bit this ranking. I don't want to speculate what.
They're worse than Poverty Quintile right now. That's literally it.
And yet,
smaller military, lower expansion, overall, all right area, all right expansion opportunities. But the fact that Poverty Point are looking so scary, just being nearby, and the fact that they just aren't like outputting the amount of settlers that they need to, it just feels like a lot of people are reeling back from. Wow, I was expecting more than this. Really?
I wouldn't call Poverty Point scary. I think scary is an overstatement. They founded two cities.
They do wear the skin of foxes. They're quite scary.
Yeah, they built a good military, but
the Apache have an Uluru clone, don't they?
Yeah, one of them. They do. You're right.
Yeah, Grand Mesa is right next to the capital.
There we go. The Grand Mesa.
Oh, it's Grand Mesa, not Uluru.
It's the worst natural wonder. I don't know if we buffed it at all. Luna can probably.
Hey, having a natural wonder is good.
I wanted to buff it, but
having the Grand Mesa is no better than just having a tile. It's a shit.
Meanwhile, the Barringer creature is like, I'm pretty sure it's like gold production.
The Barringer is science.
But no, that's what I'm talking about. Grand Mesa.
Yeah, it's basically it's just a fucking tile. Like, it's literally just like, if you improve a tile, it's as good as the Grand Mesa. Which, to be fair, is fair because of all the natural wonders in the game, the Grand Mesa fucking sucks. Like, it's just a place. It's like if they just put the North York Moors in as a fucking natural.
I don't know. I think Grand Mesa is pretty. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty, but it's not a wonder. I wouldn't call it a natural wonder. I mean, it's just like look at even in America, and there are too many natural wonders in the western from the Rocky Mountains 100%. In Civ 5 anyway. But even there,
excuse you, King Solomon's Mines.
What about Bryce Canyon? That's beautiful. Why don't put that in?
Or the Grand
Valley, the Grand,
or the actual Grand
Devil's Tower, which is in Civ 5.
The Grand Canyon would be fucking 5 tiles long. The thing is massive.
I mean, they put fucking Lake Victoria in as 1 tile. So
yeah, I mean, Civ 6 natural wonders are awesome though. Like the Pantanal and stuff are really cool.
The Civ 6 natural wonders are a huge improvement.
They did a good job with those. I liked having the Great Barrier Reef and it being like multiple tiles. That was rad.
Sucratax's natural wonders for Civ 6 are
divine.
God. They are
doing anything Sucratax is just unfair.
True, but oh my god, the graphics for the Ngorongoro crater in particular are just like Jesus. Like he's modeled like moving giraffes, and I'm just like looking at it like shit. What?
Yeah, I mean, following on Twitter,
you're getting paid for this. Please,
I don't
get a job.
I don't follow Civ 6, but I follow Sucratax on Twitter at Axucrete.
Sucratax is a god of modding.
Yeah, his just stuff is so cool.
Oh, it's just so beautiful.
There's a Mines of Solomon on this map.
No, absolutely
no, they're not.
We were talking about it in the only thing that we changed was the Old Faithful has been renamed to Great Geyser and it's in Iceland now.
Yeah, so up in yeah. No.
I thought I saw Old Faithful in its actual location.
I think both are there.
Oh, are they both
We
there?
do have some natural wonder clones. I will point out, Poverty Point, their two cities are quite big. They've got a large military, and they've got a trade caravan, whereas the Apache don't even have a trade caravan.
Yeah, true.
I also want to say, like, just while we're on the way of natural wonders, we were talking about this in the PR Discord the other day about maybe changing the bonuses for Fountain of Youth, King Solomon's Mines, and El Dorado, and just adding them as wonders to sort of fill out the fact that there's some places in the map where there just aren't wonders at all.
I disappeared for a minute or two. Did anyone mention that the effigy mound that Poverty Point built?
No, where is it?
No one's mentioned that yet.
No, so I saw
green
just
thing.
now that they built an effigy mound,
Oh, yeah, I
which
see it.
means they've gotten their first spirit guardian, and we don't know what it is.
Now it should push a notification for that. So if
Yes,
someone
it will.
is
So we'll have to
dedicated
go
enough-
back to look at the video and find it.
Yeah, if someone's dedicated enough to look to the video and figure out where that is, it shouldn't be too hard. Just look at all the shots of Poverty Point, and when you see the effigy mound, go back to the start of that turn, and the notification should pop up. So you should see what the power is there. Someone can do it, I'm sure.
Okay.
Sounds like a
I
job
might-
for Aaron Lesson.
Moving on to the
That is
Aztecs.
exactly his forte.
The Aztecs. Jesus Christ, what a bad start. That is one of the worst starts, I think. I mean, the Aztecs thrive when they're expanding and building military quick. And just,
they have Jade. What can go wrong?
And just going quickly and getting moving. And they've just built like a city in Oaxaca.
So Jade isn't a resource in this game. They have
Wait,
uranium.
I thought it was more luck that they had.
Nope, we don't have it. They just happen to build a mine on a place that has uranium. They actually do not have uranium
yet, though.
Oh, that's awkward.
I don't have to tell you they won't unlock the uranium yet. You know that. I don't even have anything to say about the Aztecs. There's nothing to say about them yet. They've underperformed. They're nowhere near the Apache though, so they might be fine for a bit. I guess we'll see.
Just so long as they lock down Mesoamerica, they're sitting pretty. And while that's happening, let's talk about the last place Civ that still managed to outdo our expectations, but is still last.
We're going into
Better than
we're going to the
Aztecs.
South America region now because I put them in the South America region for reasons I'm sure we'll get to. So I will give you the rankings for South America very.
Can we guess them?
Surely you already know them though, right?
I do know them, and I'm still angry.
Well, here we go. We have. I'll go backwards up this time. Number 6, Haiti. Number 5, the Quicaro. Number 4, Nazca. Number 3, Venezuela. Number 2, Uruguay. Number 1, Selknam. So that's a big shake-up.
Oh.
Selknam.
Obviously, Uruguay were very high for us. There was actually a wonder that they were in 3rd. We thought maybe they might creep up to number 2 or number 1 for the Part 1 rankings, but they've actually fallen behind Selknam. So let's talk about Haiti first, because I think we should go down from North America south. So we'll get to Selknam. We'll finish with
Haiti are trying to end world hunger with that incredible feed of acephalo to Caracas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first things first. Haiti actually very high population. 2 very nice cities. I'm so glad they've built a city in Cuba. So many times we see them just build the second city in Hispaniola, and it just goes nowhere from there on.
What I'm hoping is that
build it
I'm hoping so much that Haiti's pathing is just stupid, and they're actually going to settle on Trinidad.
Yeah, they could do. That'd be a nice settle.
That would be all right. More likely for it to be kept longer than immediately die, like if they settled in place.
Yeah, I mean, Venezuela. Venezuela haven't founded any more cities yet, but they have got one of the biggest armies.
I think
in the
they've
game.
only met Haiti as well.
Yeah, probably. That sounds about. Well, maybe they've met the Curicó actually by now.
They've denounced Haiti. They denounced them with like 3 turns in each of them.
They denounce everyone. That's not a huge shock.
Yeah, so
that is Paraguay.
If as far as we know, that Venezuela denounces everyone too. If they've only denounced Haiti, then it's a fair bet they've only met Haiti.
Yeah, maybe. Rant says that's the highest rank Haiti will ever get. I don't know. Someone could still die before them.
Nazca,
I think that's.
Nazca or Kotaro dying before them would be like impressive.
I think that's unlikely. But I think somebody. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
We got some cuties in the jungle.
How do people feel about Venezuela?
I think they did.
Venezuela. I mean,
scary army.
Strong military.
I think we're underrating Venezuela.
Venezuela, in my opinion, underperformed.
Okay, go on.
Just not enough cities. Overall, decent population. Army is impressive, but only likely to snipe Haiti city if they settle. At this point, the fact that Quicro were allowed to do anything is kind of sad. And Venezuela should be heavily ashamed of themselves.
Well,
here's the thing about
Kuru always settled
Venezuela.
What are
We've
Kuru
both
doing
gone
that's
for it.
unusual?
They're settling. Well, we'll talk about it later. But they're settling in a lot more north than I expect. Usually, Quicro settle like a 2-tile city, and then they just bunker down and hide.
Oh, so ECH found the poverty point one. They got Old Man Above.
Someone check what that does.
Yeah, Club, get back to us on that. Thank you very much, ECA.
Thank you so much.
ECH has been the MVP in this chat, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. Also, Lax, did you rewrite the Haiti Zika list into
Into Haitian Creole? Yes, I did. I did it in French first, and then took a vote from people. And yeah, people wanted it in Haitian Creole, which I agree with, because it's freaking to Saint Louverture, first Black Republic, get in.
Port-au-Prince is just awesome.
Yeah, I we put it in it's all into Creole, so you won't see a single French name there. I don't think. I think there's a few cities that are quite major that I couldn't find the Creole names for near the end, but they're not going to get that far, so I don't think you'll see any French.
Lax, can you now pronounce the second city for?
How do you spell it? I can't remember what it is now.
Kapaysyen.
I think it's Cap Haïtien. No, it's in French.
Cap Haïtien.
In French,
or
it's
something.
Cap Haïtien, which is Cap CAP, and then basically Haitian with an EN at the end. So
I'll need translations for all of these because I know they're meant to sound like the French.
Oh, hang on, we're getting Old Man Above. Let's hear it.
Old Man Above, according to ECH, effigy mounds provide double faith. Religious units are cheaper to purchase and may be born at lower faith levels. Foxmen will continue to be born even if all religions have already been founded.
So that's a good boost to them getting a religion, which will please Spencer.
Yeah. Spencer will be very happy about that. Yes, I think they were unlikely to get a religion. Actually, hang on a sec. I don't think they can found a religion, can they? I think Foxmen can't found religions.
Wait, let me check this.
I'm pretty sure
I thought
they
could.
I'm not sure. I'm starting to have.
Going back to Venezuela, I think they've been a bit slow, but Venezuela, I'm one of the civs that will always be probably high mid-tier at worst until they die.
I like the idea of them having one city left and being just like decimated by Uruguay or whoever, and you're still like, they're high mid tier. I mean, it's still Venezuela. Who knows what they'll get?
They might just announce everyone again.
Okay. So what's going on is the Foxman in general can found a religion. However, you get a free Foxman when you discover trapping, and that one can't be used to found a religion.
Gotcha.
The rest of them can.
Now, what I would say is, I think Poverty Points AI is probably going to want to found an effigy mound if it can with a Foxman. So I think it's going to come down to, do they discover a Foxman before they hit the classical era? If they do, I think they will probably find a religion, and if they don't, I think they'll just build an effigy mound, and then they're going to miss their chance for religion. That would be my take.
Yeah, possibly.
I feel like though, I've never seen a civ not found a religion with a great profit if they get one less religion available.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I
there
feel like
was
their AI
Tibet
could
and
be
MK 2.1. They didn't found their religion. They just kept it sitting there.
They did
That's
eventually
true.
found one though.
No, they didn't. They
Didn't
didn't.
they found Akatu, or was that someone else?
In Mark 2.1,
They found it.
the reboot.
Yeah. They were given a great profit. They didn't use it, and Vietnam ended up taking it, and Vietnam had already founded a religion. Anyways, let's talk about the Amazons. There is the Kuakuro.
Yes, the Kuakuro.
They've done exactly what we expect.
They settled farther than we thought they would.
I don't know.
Well, no, I assumed they'd found 4 to 5 cities. They're just going to lose all of them except their capital, and then their capital is never going to get taken.
Yeah. The UUs are pretty cool. I mean, they're not like super impactful, but they're like pretty cute.
They do have their UUs already, or
Yeah, they're warrior replacement.
yes, that's right.
Is that all we have to say about the
I think-
Kuakuro?
I think we
Basically.
can move on to the Nazca.
All right.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Geoglyphs are like probably one of the coolest unique improvements ever made.
They're my favorite unique improvement to build when playing as them. I like to just, when I play as the Nazca, I just reroll until I get a flat desert start, and then I just open all of the like pre-Renaissance policy trees or pre-industrial or whatever it is, and then just like make really stacked geoglyphs, and that makes up for the fact that my social policy choices are shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they've got the city of Chinchilla.
yeah, Chowchilla, yeah.
Fun
weird,
fact,
it's-
somebody in our PR group, I'm pretty sure it is Lord, he keeps confusing Chowchilla for Chinchilla.
Yeah, like genuinely, I've written it like I had to retype it like into my notes like 4 or 5 times because I just keep getting.
It's understandable. It's an understandable confusion.
I remember during Mark III, we were ranking the Nazca like unfairly low, like absolutely brutally low. And I always said, like, I've never seen the Nazca do bad. I don't know why you guys keep saying
No,
this.
I agree.
Everybody was
Like, I
convinced.
had them top. I'm pretty sure I had them top 10 for part 0.
Well, I'm talking about
So
Mark
I've-
III, but still.
Yeah.
I've never seen them do bad except in TSL.
Well, even here, they look like they're going to be fine.
Possibly, we'll see.
Sorry, I got distracted. There's a weird noise from outside. So if I get abducted by aliens, that's what that is.
That'll be pretty cool.
It's fine. You can
I'll
just
make
like.
sure to. I'll make
Just
sure
tell
to,
us
to
about
keep
it
on
when
the
you get
Discord
back.
Chat.
I was gonna say just make sure to play your music to them so they know what culture's like. But yeah, I
But,
think
like, seriously, what the hell is that?
I don't know. Nazca will probably get Sarah de Potosi, which will give them like a gold boost, but not much else.
I'm starting to fall asleep at the Nazca again.
Okay,
You
well
gotta-
let's
you
move
gotta
on
keep
to
moving.
let's move on to Uruguay. And should we
you
do
are gay.
Uruguay? and
No,
South
I just came
together so
back.
we can just-
Nazca.
just
We're
finish
talking
the
about
cities?
Nazca. I'm one of the major supporters of them. Let me just.
Dude, we're talking about Uruguay.
Uruguay.
We already moved on.
Sorry, Lunar. Sorry.
We can talk about the next week because they're
Montevideo.
Uruguay.
Salto,
There are
Like-
people sleeping on them. Go,
Salto
go, go.
means jump, but they've still managed to jump over people in the rankings when they should be like 4th based on the balance of play.
Hey. Well,
They have not built a unit. I don't. They've built a
No.
worker. They have built
This-
one worker.
Well, the Selknam have been the definition of let's build lots of
Now,
cities.
I have a question
So far.
regarding Uruguay. There's a unit of theirs on the wheat patch in Salto. Is that a settler or a worker? All right.
Worker. So you got the caravan as the horse stuff.
Also one in Montevideo. beneath the warrior. I think that's a settler.
Probably.
It could be, but we don't know.
You can
Find out
actually
next
tell.
week.
You can actually tell. I think. Oh no, never mind.
I think it's a
We'll
settler.
find out on Tuesday anyway. I think it's safe to say we expect Uruguay to settle more cities next part, or would that be?
Yeah,
a safe
I would
bet?
expect them to build more. Yeah.
It's surprising there's only 2 on the table now, but
Montevideo is
they've
quite
still got
big.
time, they've still got
A-pop is
space.
quite big for this stage in the game.
I saw a lot of people move Uruguay down to like 30th or whatever, and I think that's rash. Uruguay still have so much space. They've
I
still
mean,
got the
you
track
were
record of
you
the
were
great
just
AI.
saying about you have to rank what's in front of you. Uruguay have built 2 cities when civs in similar positions built like 4. Or they've built 2 cities and made 1 settler. With like the Kazakhs who have comparable space and built 2 settlers. Kazakhs have built like 5 cities. Metis have built like 5 cities.
Yeah, but
And so I
Uruguay's...
think you should be ranking Uruguay in like the 20s and 30s at this point
No,
in the
because
game.
here's the thing. Uruguay, Selknam are miles away. The Kuikaro are miles away and are settling north. The Nazca are miles away and are trapped in the mountains. Uruguay have so much space. It's such nice land with so many sweet... Their AI has such a great history. At the moment, there's not enough evidence on the table to tell me that Uruguay are going to completely underperform this game.
I agree. There's, just assume they're gonna behave like they behaved with any civ. Assume like they're gonna behave like they did in the tests until you have evidence otherwise. And I don't yet have evidence that Uruguay is going to suck.
ECH
agree,
made a
yeah.
great comment saying, I think it would be more justifiable if they at least were building a military, but we're not seeing that.
Well, I will say they currently have the Colorados in charge. The Colorados
They're the
being one of
science
2
boys, aren't
parties
they?
that can lead Uruguay. They're the science boys and the culture boys, not the military boys. The military boys are the Blancos, who will probably take over next part because they
It's
tend
been
to swap every
30 turns, yeah.
Exactly.
Which is a pain because of the Blancos of the and then they're probably happy now as well, which means there's less chance of it to change. Like reduce the chance. But then
It's
It's still
just-
fairly likely.
I think the chance increases if they're unhappy.
Yeah.
It doesn't but then it also decreases if they're in
I
a
think
golden age.
I think it's a 20% chance per turn or something.
After 30
yeah.
turns, it's something
Yeah.
like that.
Which goes up to 40 if they're unhappy and goes down to 10 if they're in a golden age, I think.
In any case, we can expect it to change pretty soon, and when it does, you're probably going to see more military being built.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure the Blancos aren't that expansive, but I'm not sure.
Well, we'll see.
But then we have the final civ, the depths of the Lovecraftian horrors mythos. We have the Selknam.
The Selknam, who have built 4 cities.
We can only see 3 of them.
They've also, for some reason, can walk on water. And I don't know why that is.
Wait,
We've
can
been
they
trying to-
still do that?
I definitely saw someone
Yeah.
walking on the water. I don't know about you
They
guys.
have they for some reason started with optics.
They have.
We've
yeah,
been
have
trying
someone
to
embarked.
figure that out for fucking centuries at this point. Literally, the guy who made the mod is just like, I don't know what to tell you. I can't figure it out either.
It's because they can move. They're supposed to be able to move across, I believe, ice, but they can now just move across impassable tiles, which when they haven't got embarkation means they can just walk on water.
Yeah, so it goes away after they get optics.
But they can still walk on ice and mountains. I'm pretty sure.
So they
Maybe
appear to
not.
have just been given optics to get around this because
I don't think- I don't-
the one their worker was just embarked. It wasn't walking on water.
They walk within the space.
Workers can embark at sailing, can't they? Oh no, that's
Everyone can embark. You can embark.
That's
You can embark within your own lands at sailing.
No, unless
with
we
the mod.
change
I
something.
thought we had the mod.
Christ knows, guys. Let's not worry about
The mod's broken. I believe everyone has optics. Don't quote me on that. I don't know
BC
what Brian did or Koya did it last
But
time.
yeah,
See,
the
at least
point-
tell me that the walking on water glitch doesn't last for that long, so don't worry about it too much. In any case,
I can not say anything.
in any case, the Selknam are doing fine. They're doing fine. They have 4 cities. That's good. They don't need a strong military just yet because, like every other South American civ down this neck of the woods, they're not next to anyone. So I wouldn't be thinking that they're about to get invaded anytime soon.
Yeah.
So the more they can expand, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I'd like to see them get a couple of cities out next part.
I do like the headcanon we've created of of Selknam as this just horrendous old gold civilization. And ECH
I know, I love it.
walk in space between the folds of reality, look away lest the images disrupt the cogs of your mind.
So to kind of explain to anyone, there's a Selknam city, the second one, Hamenk. The way that the camera has been configured in, and the way that the screenshots have been configured in Civ in CBRX, along with the fact that Hamenk is right at the bottom of the screen, means that we will never actually, in normal screenshots, be able to see the population of Hamenk, or even get a clear view of Hamenk at all. It will always be slightly obscured, which is hilarious. But I will say that this won't always be the case because the camera will be roaming around sooner rather than later. There's more details on that to come, but there's some exciting news afoot.
After turn 50, that won't be a problem.
Yes. I don't want to talk too much. I think it's BC's role to kind of step in and do that. But yeah, there's fun things ahead.
Yeah.
For patrons.
So I think we're basically done then. I think we've gone over the
well then we end as we should do forever, which is predictions. Wildest predictions. I obviously abstain from predictions for next part for obvious reasons.
Now, Lax, give us one spoiler, but you have to do it in Creole.
I can't do it in Creole. I would say that part 2 this is genuine. I would say it's very good for neutrals. That's all I'm going to say. I think if you're a neutral, if you're watching this and you don't support anyone, you're going to have a whale of a time.
Nice.
I don't know what to make of this.
It does release in like 38 hours.
Yeah, just go to sleep for 38 hours, guys. It'll be there when you wake up.
I have to get up in 2.5 hours.
Like the Snariacs.
I'm waking up in 2.5 hours.
Oh God. So
congratulations, we kept it shorter than the previous video. We're not going to be talking about all the civs next time.
Well, does anyone have any predictions before we sign off?
Predictions, I think.
Predictions.
New Zealand
is going to run 5 miles away and not settle too close itself.
The Nenets are going to settle closer to the Kazakhs.
Actually, can one of you Americans put up the unofficial predictions thread, like, just about now? Be really apt.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I could do that.
I think Oman are going to destroy the Middle East, but that's not new. Madagascar are going to settle the coast of Africa. How about that? That's a
great prediction.
Good prediction.
I think Zimbabwe is going to settle the coast of Africa, and they're going to completely lock out Madagascar.
I think Nepal, between Nepal and Parthia, they're going to box in India, with the exception of Allahabad. Allahabad would be an exclave.
Okay, Spicy Boy is coming in.
I don't think the Xia are going to lose a single city. That's another prediction.
Okay, I'll one-up you. Xia are going to take a Chin city.
No, I don't actually believe that at all.
It's not going to happen.
Qing are going to take both a original Qin and Xia.
I love it.
Mild prediction. No cities are going to be taken. You all are wrong. Go home. It's over.
Scotland captured Douglas.
Scotland captured Königsberg.
Capture a Muscovy city.
No. Selknam accidentally turned into the Ankh-Raj World of Warcraft civilization.
But my actual Spicy Boy.
Selknam starts sending up those whatchamacallit, gameplay alert messages in garbled text that no one can quite understand every 15 turns.
Yeah. Have you read the part? Lord?
No, I have not.
That's kind of creepy.
Like, so just between us, are you seeing the symbols too?
I thought it was just me.
Can't explain.
All right. So with that, I'm going to be calling it there. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for following if you did.
Yeah.
Make sure to
Thank
follow
you for
if you
donating to
didn't.
the Patreon, because remember, if you donate enough to the Patreon, the PRs might get paid.
You're at the never-ending portal into the abyss.
Ooh, Silk nah.
All right, thank you all for watching. It has been fun. We are stopping here. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
See y'all.
Bye.
See you next week. Maybe earlier next week if we can get the PRs out earlier.